The following is a presentation of the Waynesburg University Sports Network.
Hello and welcome back into the Waynesburg University Sports Network pregame show. We'll be bringing you coverage of Waynesburg University football versus Geneva College Golden Tornadoes. I'm Riley Holsinger, and I'm joined alongside Tanner Saprosky and Brock Owens. First, we'll be recapping the Yellow Jackets' past few weeks since we've last saw them on the Waynesburg University Sports Network against Carnegie Mellon. Then we will talk about the other crossover games happening tonight in the President's Athletic Conference. And then we will dive in, we'll preview, and we will predict the matchup between Waynesburg University and Geneva. The last time we saw Waynesburg play at John F. Wiley Stadium and on the Waynesburg University Sports Network was on April Fool's Day against Carnegie Mellon, and they lost 51-0, which that game feels like it happened months ago. The Yellow Jackets didn't find much success then, and nothing in the win column over their next 2 weeks, and finished with an 0-4 record heading into tonight's contest and crossover game against Geneva. Now it is time for me to bring in my analysts, Tanner Saprosky and Brock Owens. Brock, let me start with you here. Have you seen any improvement in the Yellow Jackets football team over the past few weeks?
Yeah, I have, Riley, and maybe it wasn't defensively like I thought it might be. Coming into the season, I thought the defense had a chance to improve from last season, maybe be at least pretty good against the run, but so far that hasn't been the case. In the last game, they lost 56-26, so at least there was some signs of life from offense in that game. They only scored 7 points in the first 3 games, so 26 points against St. Vincent, that's pretty good, and that's a good amount of improvement, I'd say, from that offense.
Yeah, the first 3 games of the season, Waynesburg was outscored 157-7. Tanner, what signs of improvement have you seen from this Yellow Jackets football squad over these past few weeks?
Yeah, I agree with Brock that their offense, just looking at the 4 games they've played, obviously St. Vincent was the best offensive game. It's just a shame because the first 3 games of the season for Waynesburg, as you mentioned, how much they got outscored by, it's a shame because obviously they need help on offense and defense, so it's a good thing that they somewhat clicked on offense in that St. Vincent game, putting up 26 points. Tyler Raines didn't have the best game at the quarterback position, but it was probably his best game of the season, which is a good start. There's only the game against Geneva left, but the offense did definitely click. The defense is still struggling, so the last game this year and going into next year, there's still going to be a lot of things that this team needs to work on going forward.
Tyler Raines in that ball game, 15 for 23, 197 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception in that 56-26 loss to St. Vincent College. In the game against St. Vincent, the team scored 26 points like we just mentioned right there. Is that a much-needed ray of hope for this offense, Brock?
I absolutely believe so, because when you get shut out in 2 straight games to start the year, the offensive morale is just at an all-time low, and then you put up 7, so at least you broke through there, and now you put up 26 in that game. They just keep building, and there's definitely some morale boost that came from that game, and especially with Justin Flack going for 158 yards on the ground and over 6 yards a carry. There was definitely a lot more clicking in that St. Vincent game than they had in the 3 previous games.
Yeah, the receiving core also kind of stepped up in that game, too, against St. Vincent College. You have Jameek Johnson, 6 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown. Brendan Tavarch, 4 catches, 63 yards, and 1 touchdown. Tanner, do you agree with Brock that this was a big ray of hope for Waynesburg on offense?
Oh, for sure, and especially because we knew that coming to the season, whenever he was ready to play, we knew that Justin Flack was probably going to be the best offensive player on this team. So it was very good to see the quarterback, wide receivers, and the running backs all come together and put together a pretty much complete game. 26 points is a good amount of points. Their defense just had to step up, but Tyler Raines, his best game of the season. Justin Flack, his best game of the season. I think for me it was important to see Brendan Tavarch step up and get some catches because he is the number 1 on this team. In the first 3 games, he had a catch here, 2 catches here. So to see your number 1 guy step up, have 4 catches, over 60 yards, and a touchdown, I think definitely helps the offense and gives them that little bit of a confidence boost going into this crossover game.
The offense played very well in the game against St. Vincent. The team could have got off to a big early lead but made a lot of mistakes early on in this matchup against St. Vincent. But we just talked about a lot of the positives that we saw on defense. Do you guys see any negatives with the team? They can come defensively. They can come from another area in this team. Brock, I'll go to you first for this one.
Yeah, the defense has just been poor this season. They give up over 50 points a game, and that's just obviously not going to get you many wins, if any. And so far with that 0-4 start, that has proved that. So they definitely need to come together. The offense needs to play like they did last game, maybe a little better like we've talked about. But that defense really just needs to step up and hold Geneva in this next game to a lot less points than they've been giving up. 40 is the least they've given up so far in that Bethany game.
Yeah, Waynesburg gave up a lot of points thus far in the season in general, but also in that game against St. Vincent, Waynesburg gave up a ton of rushing yards as well. Waynesburg ended up giving up 204 rushing yards in that loss to St. Vincent, which is going to be something that Waynesburg's going to have to move forward, and they're going to have to improve on significantly in this matchup against Geneva, a team that runs the triple option. So, Tanner, where are some of the areas where you could see Waynesburg improving at, or the areas that you see the team that is still struggling at?
Well, I think it comes back to the defense. I mean, we saw the offense click a little bit. The offense still needs improvement, but I think it's mostly going to come from the defensive side. Going back to that St. Vincent game, Waynesburg had the time of possession for 40 minutes and 43 seconds. St. Vincent only had it for 19 minutes and 17 seconds, and they scored 56 points. So that's showing you that St. Vincent's getting the ball, going straight down the field and scoring pretty much effortlessly. They were 4 for 4 in the red zone. I think that's another big part that Waynesburg's defense has to start putting together. You can't let the team score in the red zone that often, and also need the forced turnovers, which they've barely done so far this season.
Yeah, Brady Walker ended up having a field day in this matchup against Waynesburg for St. Vincent. He ended up going 14 of 16, 329 yards and 5 touchdowns. The running back for St. Vincent, Mike Stasko. He also had a really solid day on the ground, 12 attempts, 121 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's all for us recapping the Waynesburg University football team over the past couple of weeks. Now it is time for us to talk about the other games happening in the President's Athletic Conference tonight, but we'll go to a break right now.
Zuzik into the end zone, almost untouched.
The middle, back out to Delaney, 3-ball. How about, yes.
Cuts up inside, into the end zone. Touchdown, Trenton Carter.
Looks like they're not going to start at 6:30.
Welcome to the Waynesburg University Sports Network, our last game of the season. Waynesburg is hosting Geneva tonight. Matt Mansfield alongside Adam Morgante on the call for the final game of this COVID-shortened 2021 football season. So we've got a little bit of senior night festivities coming up. The last game of the year for the host Yellow Jackets are going to be honoring senior football players as well as the senior members of the cheerleading team. So we've got that to look forward to in a minute. They're still just getting their warm-ups done, so starting a hair later than anticipated, but we will get to meet all of the seniors that have been members of this team for the last 4 or so years and have contributed so greatly to this program.
Yeah, the Waynesburg football team, they have 12 members in the senior class that have contributed greatly to this program, as you mentioned, Matt, and with their first 2 home games, their last home game against Carnegie Mellon, which happened on April 1st, they didn't have a senior night for that at all, so fortunate for the crossover game with Waynesburg. So how the crossover format works is, we will probably explain it again in our stand-up, in our intro, is so Waynesburg and Geneva last year, Geneva hosted Waynesburg, so they determine who hosts the PAC crossover game by who hosted last year. So Geneva hosted the game last year, which makes Waynesburg hosting the game this year. And if they go back to a normal schedule next year, Waynesburg will be at Geneva. That's how that works, and how fortunate Waynesburg was to get a senior night that all their seniors deserve.
Yeah, like you mentioned, very fortunate that we were able to get this game in and get to honor the seniors by hosting this final game of the season. Weren't sure if we'd be hosting or not, but Waynesburg, you know, obviously, as you mentioned, how this works with them visiting Geneva the last time these 2 programs played, so therefore getting to host this matchup. We've got a few seniors that have contributed, as well as quite a few starters. Seniors, example, we've got defensively, we've got guys like Caleb Stevens, Vinny Sammartino, and Eric McDowell, the center that's been holding down the offensive line, and a few other seniors that didn't mention there, but we definitely have a lot of seniors that Waynesburg is going to have to replace next season, you know, coming up, but tonight just kind of spending their time getting that last game, going to get honored, recognized for their contributions, and see if they can pick up a win this season. Would be a great way to go out picking up a win in this PAC crossover game.
Yeah, and some other key seniors on this team is wide receiver Brendan Tavarich. He leads all receivers in receiving yards at 116 yards, 8 receptions, and he has 1 touchdown reception on the season. And Eric McDowell, you mentioned him, Matt. He's a 4-year starter on this Waynesburg team. Two of the five seniors on the offensive line. Dave Headley is the other senior at left tackle. McDowell, 4-year starter. He is also on the PAC All-Academic Honor Roll. So those 2 guys have contributed greatly to this Waynesburg team. Another senior, Caleb Stevens, on the defensive line. This is his 2nd year starting. He has 1 tackle for loss this season. He's tied 4th in the PAC in tackles by defensive linemen, and he also has 1 of the 2 Waynesburg sacks on the season. Another guy I want to talk about, another senior defender, is Connor Hudson. He has the only interception on the year. He had that against Bethany. He returned that 48 yards all the way to the Bethany 2-yard line that set up Waynesburg's first touchdown of the season. So Connor Hudson, he has the lone interception for this Waynesburg team.
Yeah, and you mentioned, Connor Hudson, as you mentioned, with that lone interception. It'll be interesting to see. I don't expect Waynesburg to get too many interceptions tonight, as I don't expect too much passing out of Geneva, but we'll touch upon that a little bit later in the broadcast. So don't anticipate anyone catching Hudson for the season in that side of things. But offensively, you could see some numbers get put up by seniors. A guy like Howie Metzger, the senior, he's definitely been a return specialist for this Waynesburg team the last 4 years, as well as getting a bigger and bigger role in the passing game. Metzger, just 5'5", 150, not the biggest guy on the field, not the most demonstrative presence whenever he's out there, but definitely a hard worker. He'll be someone to watch out for offensively. And across from him, Brendan Tavarich, the other senior receiver, who's had quite the career. He's been kind of the top receiver for this Waynesburg team over the last couple years, especially this season. So it'll be interesting to see what Tavarich can do in this final game of his career, last one of his football career.
Yeah, and now we are getting ready for senior night, and we will throw it to our public address announcer and sports information director, Bobby Fox.
To honor this year's Waynesburg University cheerleading and football seniors. First up for our cheerleaders is Angelica Good. Angelica is one of our 2 She is the daughter of Renee and David Good, and after graduation, Angelica plans on pursuing a master's degree in special education and gaining work experience. Ladies and gentlemen, Angelica Good. Next up is Holly Ludwigson. Holly will graduate with her degree in criminal justice and along with cheerleading, has been active as a student senator and is vice president of the Criminal Justice Club. She is the daughter of John and Joy Ludwigson, and after graduation, Holly plans on attending Georgetown Law School and becoming a lawyer. Ladies and gentlemen, Holly Ludwigson. Our next senior is Cassidy Millero. Cassidy is another of our senior captains, graduating with her degree in nursing. She is the daughter of Bridget and the late Michael Millero, and after graduation, Cassidy plans on going to work in the critical care unit at Washington Hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, Cassidy Millero. Next up is Cassidy Rice. Cassidy will graduate with her degree in criminal justice with a minor in psychology. She is the daughter of Jamie and Dean Rice, and after graduation, Cassidy plans on continuing her work in the Washington County Courthouse and probation, while also completing her master's degree in criminal investigation. Ladies and gentlemen, Cassidy Rice. Last but certainly not least is Caitlin Sutherland. Caitlin will graduate with her degree in nursing this spring. She is the daughter of Carl and Rebecca Sutherland, and after graduation, Caitlin will begin her work as a cardiac nurse at Washington Health System. Ladies and gentlemen, Caitlin Sutherland. Now up, the 2021 Waynesburg University Senior Football Players. First up, number 52, David Headley. David has started every game on the line for the Yellow Jackets this season and has seen varsity action for the past 2 years. He is the son of David and Alice Headley and will graduate with a degree in criminal justice with a minor in psychology. After graduation, he plans on pursuing a career in law enforcement. Ladies and gentlemen, David Headley. Our next senior is number 10, Tristan Hope. Tristan has seen varsity action in both of his years at Waynesburg after transferring prior to the 2019 campaign. He is the son of Eileen Hope and will graduate with a degree in exercise science. After graduation, he plans on pursuing a football strength and conditioning internship at the collegiate level. Ladies and gentlemen, Tristan Hope.
Maybe they were after medication, they were like another sporting event, they were giving it back to us.
Next up is number 28, TJ Johnston. TJ has seen varsity action in each of his last 2 seasons at Waynesburg, and this year he has pulled in a total of 4 passes for 19 yards. He is the son of Krissa and Jim Johnston and will graduate with a degree in criminal justice. After graduation, he plans on attending graduate school here at Waynesburg to continue his criminal justice education.
He's proud of it, though.
Ladies and gentlemen, TJ Johnston. Our next honoree is number 84, Howie Metzger. Howie has seen varsity action in each of his last 3 years and has emerged as a productive contributor in both the passing game and as a kick and punt returner. He currently ranks 5th in the PAC as a kick returner. Howie has also been a star in the classroom and has been honored in each of the last 2 years as a member of the PAC Academic Honor Roll. He is the son of Howard and Stacy Metzger and the brother of sophomore teammate Tyler Metzger and will graduate with a degree in sports management. After graduation, he plans on obtaining a job in sports, either as a coach, athletic director, or in the front office of a professional franchise. Ladies and gentlemen, Howie Metzger. Next up is number 19, Anthony Mirabile.
No, do not. It breaks
Anthony comes in tonight ranked in the top 10 on the team in total tackles and is tied for 2nd in tackles for loss. He is the son of Felicia and Nicholas Mirabile and will graduate with a degree in criminal justice with a minor in psychology. After graduation, Anthony plans on beginning a career in corrections, probation, or parole, and beginning his master's work in criminal investigation. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Mirabile.
Was like, I'll stay.
Our next senior is number 82, Isaac Orahood. Isaac has seen varsity action for both the Yellow Jacket football and track and field teams over his time at Waynesburg. He's also been honored for his work in the classroom as a member of the PAC Academic Honor Roll. He is the son of Sonia and Scott Orahood and will graduate with a degree in middle-level education for social studies and science. After graduation, Isaac plans on earning his teacher certification and beginning his teaching career. Ladies and gentlemen, Isaac Orahood.
One game I didn't work.
Back here on the Waynesburg University Sports Network. Thank you for joining us for honoring the seniors of this Waynesburg football team as well as the senior cheerleaders. We're going to send it back to the Waynesburg's pregame show, and then we'll be back here at John F. Wiley Stadium for kickoff. Stay tuned.
There are two other matchups happening in the President's Athletic Conference happening tonight, and one of those games is already underway with St. Vincent taking on Carnegie Mellon. Both teams entered this matchup at 2-2, but Tanner, do you think the records are deceiving this matchup and it makes this matchup look a lot closer than it will be?
I think the records are slightly deceiving. Both of them come in with a 2-2 record. St. Vincent, I think that's a good place for them. CMU, I watched them in person whenever they played here against Waynesburg, and I think that they are better than a 2-2 football team. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to end up being a good game. And I mean, I think it could go either way. I think CMU is the better team. They ran the ball extremely well whenever I saw them against Waynesburg, and they have through the entirety of the season. Luke Bickledge averages 104 rushing yards per game. Already has 7 rushing touchdowns on the season. So he's definitely one of those top caliber players that's going to make a big difference in the way that Justin Flack and Waynesburg ran all over St. Vincent last week. I think he's due to have a big game that could be a cause for a Carnegie Mellon victory.
Yeah, and Carnegie Mellon in that game against Waynesburg that you touched up on, they didn't even start J.D. Dayhoff, who is their top quarterback there. They started the backup instead and still cruised away to a 51-0 victory. Brock, do you believe that the records are a little deceiving this matchup between St. Vincent and Carnegie Mellon?
I think they're a little deceiving as far as talent goes because, as Tanner mentioned, Carnegie Mellon's a really good team, especially defensively. They're a top 3 team in the PAC. And then when you look at St. Vincent, they're second to last, only in front of Waynesburg. So, yeah, Carnegie's got a lot of talent, but that doesn't mean that this isn't going to be a close game. And I think it will be a close game when it comes down to it. But I do think Carnegie Mellon's better than a 500 team, and St. Vincent maybe slightly better in a regular year, maybe 6-4 record for them. But this should be a good game, even with a little bit of a talent difference.
All right, now it's time to predict this game between St. Vincent and Carnegie Mellon. Tanner, who do you have and why?
St. Vincent, they played really well against Waynesburg in its last game. CMU lost its last game, but only to 10 points against Westminster, who's top 2 team in the PAC. But for this game, I have the Carnegie Mellon University coming out on top just because of Brock was saying I think they're a more talented team. They're well coached, and they can run the ball and keep that time of possession up and don't let that St. Vincent offense get the ball. So I'm going with CMU.
Brock, who do you have and why?
I'm going Carnegie Mellon. But like I said, I think it's going to be a close game. St. Vincent loves to pass the ball, and Carnegie has the #1 rush defense, but they're below average in the PAC in pass defense. So that works out really well for St. Vincent, and I think it could end up being a pretty high-scoring affair. But in the end, I do think Carnegie just is a little more talented and will win this game.
You know what? Give me St. Vincent in this matchup. I think Brady Walker has a week like how he did against Waynesburg last week when he went 14 of 16 for 329 yards and 5 touchdowns. That St. Vincent's going to be in a really, really, really good spot to go ahead and win this ball game. And then you mix Brady Walker's performances with Mike Stasko's performances at running back last week. He had 121 yards and a couple scores there. So I think if those guys can get involved early on offense and kind of get the ball rolling for the St. Vincent offense, that they'd be able to go out there and they'd be able to perform really well against this Carnegie Mellon defense, even though this defense is a lot better than the other teams that St. Vincent has played defensively wise. We're going to take some country roads into Bethany, West Virginia, as the Bison were supposed to host Grove City, but that game ended up getting canceled. I ended up being able to talk with some Grove City football players this past Saturday at the Grove City College Invitational track meet, and the kind of vibes I was getting away from the players on the football team was that they expected that was going to be their last game of the season after the loss to Geneva. So that game will not be happening tonight, even though it was supposed to happen. Tanner, how disappointing is it that this game between Bethany and Grove City isn't going to happen tonight?
Yeah, I think it's disappointing. It's a shame for the conference because, I mean, you want to have your conference as much coverage as possible. You want to see your teams going out there and playing. But for the teams themselves, I think it's disappointing because the players want to play, especially in such a weird and tough year we've had this year, shortened season because of COVID, all the restrictions. Seniors on the team, especially if they're not coming back for an extra year, that could be their last game. And I think it's a bad way to end the season if you're on that team. But I mean, in this case, you have to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I agree with you in that point there, especially with how weird this season has been. I mean, we're talking about playing President's Athletic Conference football in the spring semester here, so definitely a lot different than most people anticipated heading into this season. Brock, how disappointing is this for you that these teams won't be facing off tonight?
Yeah, it would have been great to get a full slate of all 8 of the PAC teams that participated in this spring year to play in this today in this later scheduled game. It would have been great. 6 is still good, but it is a little disappointing. I'm sure for the players, the coaches, for both of these teams as well. But like Tanner said, you got to do what you got to do. So having 6 of those PAC teams go is pretty good as well.
Now it is time to talk about and preview the conference championship game between Westminster and Washington and Jefferson. Westminster is entering this matchup at 4-0, while W&J is 3-0. Tanner, let me go to you first. What are some of the keys for you guys to win the President's Athletic Conference in this matchup?
I think it's going to come down. Both these teams are very talented on the offensive side of the ball. W&J has the best, one of, if not the best defense in the President's Athletic Conference. So I think if the Presidents are able to continue to run their offense the way they have all season in the past decade in the PAC, and they come up with stops and turnovers on defense, I think that's really going to be the big difference in this PAC championship game.
Brock, what are some of your keys?
Yeah, it's no coincidence that these are the 2 teams that are undefeated going to the PAC championship. They're probably the 2 most talented teams, but Washington and Jefferson has such a dominant defense. They're number 1 in the PAC in scoring defense, number 1 in yards allowed. So if that defense can keep up what they did in their first 3 games, then they're going to walk away with this championship.
Yeah, I completely agree with you right there. This is definitely going to be an interesting championship game and everything. Obviously, like I mentioned, a little bit of a different year. It would have been interesting to see how Case Western Reserve would have done if they decided to play football in this spring semester, and what a guy like Drew Saxton could have done to the conference, because arguably he is one of the best quarterbacks in this conference. But let me go to you here, Tanner. Do you like the format of this year, giving a conference championship game for the best 2 teams to battle it out?
I do, because, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're watching throughout the whole season, you could have saw that W&J and Westminster were the 2 best teams in the conference, and I think just putting them up against each other, it's going to be the best game of the season. I think it's going to be a very close game, and I think it might come down to the final possession. But as far as the way that they were matched up, I do like it. I think it was a good idea because, I mean, at the end of the day, you want to see the 2 best teams go against each other and see what that would look like.
Brock, do you like this compared to the old format?
Yeah, it makes sense to just put the 2 best teams together and not have there be any doubt who the PAC champion is, and we aren't going to have any doubt after tonight, after we get a winner.
Who is your prediction to win the conference championship? Tanner, you can go first.
And this one, I've kind of been going back and forth on this one. Westminster obviously 4-0, W&J 3-0 because its game last week got canceled, so they had a week of rest or a week of not playing, which you could take it either way. Some people prefer the rest, some people prefer to keep playing to stay up with pace of the game. But I think defense does win championships. W&J comes in only giving up 6 points per game, so I just don't think Westminster's offense is going to overpower them that much, and W&J just really is that good, so I'm taking the Presidents in this one.
Brock, do you agree with Tanner here?
I do agree with Tanner here because of that defense. It's just so good. Only 6 points a game, less than a touchdown a game. That's insane. And even though Westminster can put up a lot of points, and they're going to put up more than 6. That's my prediction right there. But I don't think that they can get enough to keep up with W&J, who has the best offense in the PAC as well.
Cole Konechka, one of the best quarterbacks in the President's Athletic Conference this season, but I don't think he is the best quarterback in the PAC this season. I think that title has to go to Justin Haycock. He's been lights out for the Presidents all season for W&J, and then combine that with getting the best receiver in Division III with Andrew Wolf and Peyton Scalos. Those guys are incredible to have as your receivers, and then throw in the mix of Joey Caroli and Jack Ryan. Give me the Presidents winning the President's Athletic Conference Championship. We just previewed the other matchups happening in the conference, and we still have one more to preview and predict, but instead we'll be tossing it down to our announcers, Matt Mansfield and Adam Morgante, down at John F. Wiley Stadium to discuss the matchup between Waynesburg and Geneva.
Welcome back to the Waynesburg University Sports Network. Matt Mansfield, Adam Morgante here for the Geneva and Waynesburg matchup. Adam, Geneva, 1 win on the season. Waynesburg still winless in the final game of the season, looking for a win. What can they expect out of this Geneva team in this final game of the year?
Well, Geneva, their offense really isn't anything like it is in any other team in the PAC. They like to run the triple option led by their quarterback, Amos Luptak, who's not only their leading rusher on the team, but he's also the leading rusher in the PAC, averaging 116 yards per game rushing.
And this is a Geneva team that averages over 230 yards per game. Waynesburg's run defense allowing just under 200 a game. We'll see who wins this matchup. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back on the Waynesburg University Sports Network.
You're watching WCTV, where we aim to bring you the best local coverage of what you care about most. Everything from local businesses to hometown sports and the latest weather. We're keeping up to date with what you need to know about issues that affect our campus and our community. We're telling the stories that matter, celebrating our past, our future, and our potential. So tune in for all the latest buzz right here on WCTV Channel 14, Waynesburg.
Matt and Adam just discussed some of the matchup that we will see shortly between Waynesburg and Geneva. Now it's time for myself, Riley Holsinger, Tanner Saprosky, and Brock Owens to discuss it. Brock, we'll start with you first. What are some of the keys for Waynesburg to go ahead and win this game?
Well, a pretty simple one is to focus on the run. Geneva runs that triple option. They only have 17 pass attempts in 4 games so far, so the Waynesburg's defense really just needs to come up, focus on that run, and if they can stop it, good things will happen for Waynesburg tonight.
Tanner?
Yeah, I think if Waynesburg plays offensively the way that they did against St. Vincent, I think that's going to be a big part, because if you dominate the time of possession against a team like Geneva, that's going to hurt them, because of them, like Brock said, all they do is run the ball pretty much, and that eats up clock. Against St. Vincent, Waynesburg dominated the time of possession, as I mentioned earlier, but St. Vincent loves to throw the football, and that's a great way to move the ball. So if you can control the time of possession while putting points up on the board like Waynesburg did against St. Vincent, I think that's the best chance that Waynesburg has to beat Geneva tonight.
Geneva, it's no secret that they run the triple option. Last week in the matchup between Waynesburg and St. Vincent, Waynesburg gave up 204 rushing yards. Obviously, they cannot do that against a team like Geneva that thrives off of just running the ball and have one of the best rushing quarterbacks in the President's Athletic Conference in Amos Luptak. So, Brock, how do you think the triple option will affect Waynesburg's defense? Are they going to have an easier time trying to stop it since it's so one-dimensional, or is it going to be a lot harder for them?
This could go either way. When you look at some stats, it does seem to help them a little bit, because Waynesburg's had pretty much by far the worst pass defense in the PAC this year. So, yeah, in that way it helps them. But when you look at their run defense, they're still ranked 8th or ranked 6 out of 8 in the PAC this year. And as far as average and touchdowns allowed goes this year, for rushing, Waynesburg's still last in the PAC in those 2 areas, so they're really going to have to step up, even in the run defense, to try and stop this triple option.
Tanner, how do you think the triple option will affect Waynesburg?
I mean, it seems like teams prepare for the triple option, but they're still successful running it. But I think Waynesburg, coming off the game against St. Vincent, they had to have a little bit of hope coming out of that one that they were able to score 26 points. The defense was still pretty abysmal, but I mean, for preparing for the triple option, I feel like the Yellow Jackets are ready. I feel like they want to go out there and create a lot of pressure in the backfield, but I mean, only time's going to tell tonight to see how successful they are in preparation for this game.
Yeah, when it comes to the triple option, I'm going to pull a Bill Belichick-ism here. Do your job. That's what it's going to take for Waynesburg to be able to stop the triple option tonight. The guys on the defensive line, Caleb Stevens, Lucas Donley, anybody that you throw out there, Joel Zellum, Logan Blakeman, they're going to have to do their job if they want to stop the triple option tonight. They have to be very precise on their assignments. They cannot screw up any assignments that they have in general. And once they do that, Geneva can end up blowing the whole door open or the whole gate open to going ahead and opening up the rest of its offense as well. And then in the secondary as well, even though the triple option is obviously something that you just have to focus on in the run game, Geneva can catch the Waynesburg secondary sleeping out there, and then that could lead to a big score too. So that's something they're going to have to watch forward to with the triple option in general. Brock, what is one player or position group that you're going to need Waynesburg to step up tonight for them to go ahead and win?
For me, it's that defensive line, as you said before, and not in the way that they're making plays, but in the way that they're taking as many Geneva offensive linemen as they possibly can. They need to just draw as many double teams as possible, let guys like Brandon Tanko and the other linebackers run free and get the tackles and be able to stop that triple option. So they need to make it so that they're not blocked, so the defensive line needs to take those offensive linemen.
Tanner, do you agree with Brock here about the defensive line?
I agree, yeah, and I was going to go back to the two guys you mentioned, Lucas Donley and Caleb Stevens. They're two of the older, more experienced guys on that defensive line, but I'm going to go with the linebacking core, whether they have 3 or 4 guys out there, because, as you mentioned, they could break off one run, get past the defensive line, break one 60, 50-yard run, score a touchdown, and that completely changes the type of game that Waynesburg has to play. So I think if the running back or quarterback from Geneva gets into that second level, the linebacking core for Waynesburg has to stop them before they can give up double-digit yard runs and possibly a big breakout touchdown that could completely change the game for them.
Yep, well, both of you can pretty much assume what I'm going to say here. I'm going to agree with both of you guys and say the defense here, but I'm also going to go with a guy on offense too, Tyler Raines. If Tyler Raines has a really solid ball game out here for the team, kind of like how we saw him play last week, I think it could definitely help out Waynesburg in this matchup. But it's now time to predict the game. Waynesburg enters today's matchup with an 0-4 record. Meanwhile, Geneva comes into the game with a 1-3 record. Let's throw it to the predictions right now. Brock, who do you have winning this matchup?
Well, I think this game will be closer for Waynesburg than they have in the past, even against St. Vincent. But I'm still going to go with Geneva in this game. Waynesburg's defense just hasn't showed me enough this year that they can stop the run or the pass. And in this game, seeing something completely different from what they have in the past couple of games, I'm going to go with Geneva winning it.
Tanner, who do you have winning?
Yeah, I think this is also going to be a close game, as Brock mentioned, especially because the way that Waynesburg controls the time of possession. But with that being said, they need to score points on those possessions. Don't let Geneva get the ball in their hands. But also, as Brock mentioned, the Waynesburg defense was not very impressive this year. I haven't seen any signs that makes me want to pick the Yellow Jackets in this game despite the time of possession. So I'm going with the Geneva Golden Tornadoes and the triple option tonight.
Well, we've seen Waynesburg improve every single game thus far this season. And you know what? Since it's the last time right here on the Waynesburg University Sports Network pregame show, that just means one more not so fast, my friend. Give me the Yellow Jackets in this matchup. I think Justin Flack's going to have a field day and improve off of his 158 yards rushing that we saw last week. I think Tyler Raines, he's going to finally get comfortable in his role as quarterback. I think we're going to see a lot of the Division I promise out of him as a quarterback. It's going to step up. I think guys like Jameek Johnson, Brennan Tavares will be huge contributors for Waynesburg. And I think this Yellow Jackets team is very frustrated on defense, and I think that they're all going to work together really well tonight because they're going to go out there, they're going to be aggressive because they do not want to have a winless slate for this 2021 spring season. But tune into the Waynesburg University Sports Network halftime show featuring many different Waynesburg athletes. And now it is time to throw it down to John F. Wiley Stadium as our announcing duo of Matt Mansfield and Adam Morgante will call the action of the football game between Waynesburg and Geneva.
Welcome back to the Waynesburg University Sports Network. Matt Mansfield, Adam Morgante bringing you the Geneva versus Waynesburg game from John F. Wiley Stadium. Adam, both teams finished at the bottom of their respective parts of the conference, the PAC North, PAC South, but these two teams had common opponents this year. Waynesburg at 0-4, they played W&J and Carnegie Mellon. Geneva, they're 1-3. They also played W&J Carnegie Mellon. In those two games against common opponents, Geneva lost both of those by a score of 40-13. Waynesburg lost both of those games as well, but they were outscored 117-0. So we're going to see, based on that little indicator right there, it looks like Geneva's been able to keep these games a lot closer, but we're going to have to see what this Waynesburg team brings for this final ride.
Yeah, and one thing for Geneva keeping those games closer is their rushing offense. When you're running the ball pretty much every single play, you're going to keep running clock. And for the Geneva offense, they rank first in the President's Athletic Conference in rushing yards per game at 234 rushing yards a game. And by doing that, that really limits the possessions the other team has. They've only thrown the ball 17 times all season. As I mentioned earlier, the quarterback, Amos Luptak, he is not only the leading rusher on this team, but he's the leading rusher in all of the President's Athletic Conference as far as rushing yards per game at 116. His stats, he has 76 attempts for 348 rushing yards for 3 touchdowns. He's only for passing 3 and 9 for 60 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 interception.
Yeah, like you said, this is a team that they're not going to throw the ball a lot. They're just going to try and, grind it, run it down your throat. And it's one of those games where what does Waynesburg's run defense have in them? Are they going to be able to get stops? We don't know that for sure. We're going to find out here shortly. But it's always interesting to watch this Geneva team because everyone else they play knows what they're bringing to the table. It's not necessarily hard to predict what their game plan is, but it sure as heck is hard to stop what they're going to do. As you can see, both teams getting out here set for the kickoff. Waynesburg is going to be kicking this one off as they're going to defer and they're going to get the ball in the second half. Geneva is going to be on the return. Geneva won the toss, decided to receive this ball to get this final game of the season started for both of them. So Geneva getting ready to return.
Yeah, back deep for Geneva is Gino Mavero and Jalen Collier. Keegan Robbie will do the kicking duties for the Yellow Jackets.
And the kick is underway. The game has started. Geneva on the return right here. And Geneva, you got him breaking through at about the 30-yard line, getting close to the 35 before he is brought down. It was Navarro that had the return there. Took me a minute to Navarro, excuse me. Took me a second to see that one. Got the bird's eye view up top here at John F. Wiley Stadium. So as you can see, this Geneva triple offense, the triple option offense is marching out onto the field to start off this ball game. 1st and 10 here from the 34-yard line. Geneva has the ball. Triple option, the snap, the handoff to Lipiat. He is driving up the middle, and he is going to gain a few yards here before being brought down. Ran it straight down the Waynesburg throat there to start off the game. Lipiat, he had the first carry there. It looks like Hendel was on the stop for Waynesburg, Alec Hendel.
Yeah, we'll probably be calling Hendel's name a lot in this game. He's tied 3rd in the PAC in tackles at 33. He's averaging a little over 8 tackles per game. So keep an eye on Hendel in this game tonight.
Both defenses have people from our alma mater high schools at them. Alec Hendel from Kennemack, and you have Freeman from Freeport for Geneva. They went to your same alma mater. The snap, and Luptak is going to toss that one back. And this guy, Mavero, is running this one downfield. It looks like he's going to be able to pick up that first down. Excuse me on that one. That was Pete. Pete is able to pick up the first down for Geneva as they're going to move the chains for the first time this ball game.
Yeah, Brandon Tanko made the stop on that. He's also a name we'll be calling a lot. He's 6th in the PAC in tackles at 24, and he's only played 3 games, so he has averaged 8 tackles per game. So Hendel and Tanko, they made the first 2 tackles of the evening for Waynesburg. They are very active, and they're ball hawks, and they swarm whoever the ball carrier is.
1st and 10, ball on the 45. triple option offense lined up once again. Man in motion, the snap, and it looks like he's going to keep it himself. Luptak is breaking up the right side. Luptak cuts back inside. He's going to have a missed tackle there for Waynesburg, and Natanko wasn't able to bring him down, but Luptak was stopped. But he was able to move the chains on that run. Luptak just kept that one for himself, picked up the first down. It looks like that was Hendel that ultimately got the tackle for the Waynesburg Yellow Jackets defense. As you can see here, got the replay. You can just see Luptak fakes that handoff, and he has room to run, sprints out there, makes a cut back inside that gets him a few extra yards, that gets him that first down. As they're back in formation once again, they're just going to keep driving this one straight down Waynesburg's throat as the snap, and it looks like Luptak eyeing up a man. He fires this pass downfield. They're past the 30-yard line. That pass, that was to Pete. Pete on the catch there. Pete was the target. Blake Pete, the freshman out of Geneva, Ohio, ends up going to Geneva College in Pennsylvania. Different state, same school name. As you can see, that was a very rare move for this this Geneva offense, Adam.
Yeah, as Paul Harris is our lead official, just made that pass interference call. That call will go on the safety, Jesse Kane, on pass interference. We have the replay there. Geneva doesn't throw often, but it looked like Jesse Kane just got in there too early for the penalty to try to break up that pass, and Geneva gets a free first down.
Geneva moving the chains without even getting a completion on that pass play. One of the few pass plays they've attempted all season, as Luptak has the keeper. Not going to make up too much ground on that carry, as he's going to get stuffed pretty close to the line. Hendel once again on the tackle. They definitely have liked having Luptak keep the ball himself and run it downfield. As you mentioned earlier in the stand-up, Adam, that Luptak is one of the best runners in the PAC. Even though he's at the quarterback position, he is lethal as a rusher.
Which is something you really never see in any conference, but for how much Geneva runs, it's just how Luptak is and how much that he keeps the ball for this Geneva offense.
Luptak gonna take the snap. Luptak, the keeper, runs up the middle once again, stopped. Didn't gain too much ground on that one, as that was Natanko on the tackle. So it looks like with 2 plays in a row, Luptak has the keeper. Third down here. This Waynesburg defense has an opportunity to get a stop. We're going to see if they can take advantage of it. Geneva only converting 28% of their third downs on the season. This is certainly not their most efficient down in terms of play, as Luptak keeps the ball. He gets past the 20-yard line, brought down shortly thereafter, and we're going to have to wait to see if they're going to move the chains. He looks like he was just short, though. And they're going to mark him short. Probably about a yard there. A couple yards short on that one. Patrick Carlson Jr. on the tackle there, stopping the third down conversion, and Geneva going to keep the troops out there. They're going for it on fourth down. The snap, the handoff. He's going to be stuffed at the line. Lippiat gets stuffed, and it looks like Waynesburg is going to get a big turnover on downs there to start the game, and Geneva comes away scoreless on that first possession.
Caleb Stevens made that big tackle to get Waynesburg off the field on fourth down, and you see the replay as it just a straight run up the middle to Lippiat, and Stevens is right there to greet him. Big stand by this Waynesburg defense here on fourth down, as now Waynesburg's offense takes the field for its first drive of the evening.
Stevens, the senior on senior night, getting a big stop on that first possession. On fourth down, you see it's Raines taking the snap, trying to find his guy. He's just going to roll out, tosses that one, incomplete. That pass just did not have a lot of time. He had to roll out, tried to get something going there. Didn't really have anyone open, and that was Kearns was the intended target.
Yeah, and you see that first play, Waynesburg drop back the pass, and Raines really didn't get much time at all to throw, as this Waynesburg offense has given up 13 sacks so far. Definitely an issue that they've had through only 4 games. So keep an eye on the Waynesburg offensive line has seen how well they can protect Raines.
2nd and 10. Raines takes the snap, and there's the handoff. Going to be stopped after maybe a yard or two. On the stop was Cotton. O'Neal Cotton for Geneva gets the stop. So Waynesburg got the stop on 4th down, and so far 2 unsuccessful plays have them looking at 3rd and long, 3rd and 7 to be more specific here with 10 minutes to go in the first quarter. So Waynesburg is going to need to make something happen, keep this drive alive.
Last week on 3rd downs for Waynesburg, they were 4-7 against St. Vincent.
Raines drops back. Raines trying to find a man. He finds someone right in the middle, and that one's complete for the 1st down. That was Kearns. Raines and Kearns connect. 2nd target for Kearns' 1st catch, and it's a big one on 3rd and 7 to convert. As you can see, Raines had time in the pocket, and if you give him time, look at that, a completion right there. Kearns, nice route, got himself open, and was far beyond the chains to get that 1st down.
I'm going to give a shout out to Justin Flack. It looked like Dalton Roseman, the freshman linebacker, was coming in on a blitz, and Flack did a great job picking him up on the block, giving Raines plenty of time to put that throw on the money to Kearns for the 1st down.
11th catch of the season for Kearns. The snap to Raines, the handoff. Flack has it. He's trying to wiggle around his offensive line. Looks like he gained maybe 3 yards on that one. Didn't have a lot of room to go. It was Allen on the stop for Geneva.
Waynesburg has Hendel, who's the 3rd leading tackler in the PAC. Well, Dakota Allen, who just made that stop, leads the PAC in tackles at 41, averaging a little over 10 tackles a game, and he also has 1 interception on the season. So we might be calling Dakota Allen's name a lot, as he is again a ball hawk in the other team's backfields for Geneva.
Certainly a name to watch for this Geneva defense as 2nd and 8. Raines takes the snap. Raines looking for somewhere to go. He's just going to try and take it himself. He's going to be brought down before he can make any ground up, leaving a 3rd and long situation once again for the Yellow Jackets offense. As you can see, the replay on the screen right here, Raines had that snap. Looked like they didn't have too much going on there. And Raines tried to get something going on the ground. Couldn't really do it, as you saw the swarm of Golden Tornadoes jerseys right there surrounding Raines.
Yeah, that was just a busted play as Flack went to the right and Raines looked to hand off to the left, and it was just a busted play, and Raines tried to make something out of nothing.
3rd and 6. Can they do it again? Raines with the snap. Raines buying time. He finds his man, and that one's going to be complete. 1st down. That one to Brennan. Another 3rd and long and another 1st down for this Yellow Jackets offense. They are doing well under pressure on 3rd down today.
Yeah, 2 for 2 so far on 3rd downs, and it looked like, again, same situation. Roseman was trying to blitz the linebacker for Geneva, and Flack stood in there and picked up another excellent block as he landed really just in front of Tyler Raines, but Raines still had plenty of room to step in and follow through and throw a dart to Brennan for the 1st down.
Geneva allowing over 40% of 3rd downs to be converted this season, and there's the handoff to Flack. Flack goes up the middle. Again, struggling on the ground is this Waynesburg offense. Nowhere to go. And it's going to be another 2nd and long situation for Waynesburg.
Gary Weaver made the stop on the play for Geneva, the 5'10 senior out of Tyrone, Pennsylvania.
Waynesburg's offense this season has not had the most success on the ground thus far. Just 2.8 yards per carry and 99.8 yards per game. So really struggling on the ground. But again, you can maybe attribute that to some woes with the offensive line thus far, as Raines once again takes the snap. He hands that one off, and Flack going to spin around, but that play is going to be called dead before Flack can go any farther. Waiting on the call here. It looks like a false start on the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Waynesburg offense struggles they had this season. They only average 99 rushing yards per game, which is dead last in the PAC, unlike how good Geneva's rushing attack is, being first at 234 rushing yards a game. Waynesburg is last in the PAC in rushing offense.
offensively, this Waynesburg team only averaging 8 points per game, so hasn't been the most stellar season for these fellows on that side of the ball. Once again, you got a second down situation, 2nd and 15. Rains takes the snap. Rains hands that one off and going to be stopped right around the line of scrimmage. Once again, a run play that's just a little too, just unsuccessful for this Waynesburg offense. Flack struggling to get it going early on. Segura for Geneva was on the stop there. Waynesburg, once again, 3rd and long, 3rd and 14 this time around, so it's going to be a tough situation for these Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, Waynesburg's 2 for 2 so far on 3rd downs in this drive, but those were 3rd and Manual, 3rd, 6, 3rd, and 7. This one definitely a 3rd and long passing situation here for the Yellow Jackets.
Those completions have gone for 12 yards and 17 yards. So we're going to see if Waynesburg can pick up enough this time. Rains rolling out. He's going to buy time once again. That pass to Geneva defenders right there as he's not able to get that one completed. Rains was looking for tight end TJ Johnston and just couldn't get him.
Casey now there, he was in on a deflection, and there's the replays. Rains, he rolled out of the pocket and really was kind of an off-balance flow, so that time on 3rd down, Geneva was able to send pressure. It got Rains off a little bit so to where it affected his throw, and forcing a 4th down and a punt for Waynesburg. And it's 4th and 14 for the Yellow Jackets.
Pretty solid drive for Waynesburg. It just, stalled out there with a few tough plays, and it looks like on that punt, Waynesburg, they're signaling that they recovered the fumble, did they? We'll see what the referees say. And that one's going back to the Jackets. What a play there for Waynesburg.
Looked like Ben Drast made the fumble recovery there. The cornerback, the freshman out of Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania, setting up Waynesburg in excellent field position, and their little bobble there on he was running and he fumbled there. You see the replay in Waynesburg. Good job by Drast to get on it.
As you can see, Waynesburg, Drast was just able to get there. Waynesburg once again has possession. The handoff. Flack, he's going to break away. He's headed down. Touchdown, Waynesburg. Waynesburg able to score a touchdown right there. And that turnover turns into 6 for the Yellow Jackets with a PAT coming. Great play for the Yellow Jackets offense after that turnover. Justin Flack right down the middle. We had mentioned they'd struggled with the run game early today. Not the case. And they're going to put up 6, and they take a lead early on Geneva. 6-0 PAT pending. 5 minutes to go, first quarter. Waynesburg, kick is up. That one's good. Waynesburg up 7-0. What a start for this team offensively. That first drive was pretty solid, and it just stalled out there at the end. Gets the turnover, and they take it home, just cashing in those turnover points. Big key for winning football games, and Waynesburg off to a good start in that aspect.
Yeah, Flack picking off right where he left off last week. He had a great game against St. Vincent in a loss, 56-26. He had 25 rushing attempts for 158 yards with 1 touchdown. Coming into today, Flack had 52 rushing attempts for 278 yards and 2 touchdowns and 5.3 yards per carry. So a big run there by Flack, and only time will tell to see if he can continue to provide a spark for this Waynesburg rushing offense.
You can see right here, Flack just got himself right up the middle, and no one was catching him. He had room to run straight down the field, and he was able to cash it in. Great play, and this Waynesburg offense, a little bit of hype. This is a situation, haven't played many close games at all this season, really haven't been in most of these games, but to start off with a lead could be a fun one for the Yellow Jackets. If this defense, we're going to see how they hold against the triple option once again.
Yeah, this is Waynesburg's first lead of the season, Matt.
Big play there for Waynesburg, and getting themselves a lead, that's huge. Want to end this season on a high note, Waynesburg does. Kick is up. And Geneva on the return here. He's at the 20. He's at about the 30-yard line before he is met by this Yellow Jackets special team unit. That was Clark on the return. Collier on the return. And Hannick was the one that made the stop for Waynesburg. 4:56 to go here. First quarter, Waynesburg on top 7-0. And Geneva finally getting possession after a drive that they, didn't get a chance at due to the fumble on that punt.
Yeah, and on Geneva's last drive, the turnover on downs, so they were inside Waynesburg territory.
Luptak with the handoff. Luptak takes it himself, but he's going to be met by a wall of Waynesburg defenders. Brought down for a gain of about 2 yards.
And number 98, Zach
Bauman was one of the people on the stop there. Looks like Hannick and Bauman were able to get that stop. You can see the replay here as Luptak just tried to get to the outside, but Waynesburg's defense seems very prepared thus far for this triple option offense that Geneva presents. Luptak once again getting ready under center. Luptak takes the snap. Luptak looking to pass this time. He's going to roll out. Luptak trying to buy himself time. Luptak, he's going to get up to the 40, and he's going to be drawn out about the 45-yard line, and that's enough to pick up the first down and move the chains. Tanko was able to push him out of bounds, but not before converting the first down.
Yeah, Waynesburg, they had great pressure on this play, but the speed of Luptak was able him to scamper and scramble for a first down. As you see multiple Waynesburg defenders like Joel Zellum and Tyler Metzger go out of try to chase him, as Tanko was eventually able to force him out of bounds. But great job there by Luptak to scramble and improvise.
Plays like that show why he's one of the best rushers in this conference. Luptak once again with the handoff. This is Lippiat, and he's going to be brought down right around the 50-yard line. It's going to be good for about 6 yards, setting up second down and manageable for this Geneva offense. Alec Hendel was able to get the stop for Waynesburg. And it's been one of those days where it seems like Luptak is definitely doing the bulk of the carrying of the ball for this Geneva offense so far. Lippiat, a pretty good runner himself. His numbers are definitely respectable. But whenever you have a guy like Luptak, it's hard not to give him the ball as much as you can. Luptak, once again, he's going to roll out this time. Luptak right around the 50-yard line again, brought down. Might be good for a gain of 1, we'll see, but that's regardless. It's going to set up a third down and short, and Tanko was on the tackle of Luptak there. Third down, Geneva's offense trying to convert here. As you'd mentioned, the last possession that Geneva had, they were in the red zone, barely, just by a hair, but they were in the red zone, and they got stopped on fourth down. Set up Waynesburg's offense to get a little drive going before the punt. The fumble, and Waynesburg cashed in and scored. And here we are once again, third down, 3 yards to go. Luptak under center. Luptak hands it off to Lippiat. Lippiat, he breaks away up the middle, and that's going to be good for the first down and then some. Brought down right around the 40-yard line, right around the 41 maybe.
Yeah, Tanko made the tackle on that play, and really nothing too fancy about that one. He just gave it to Lippiat, just ran it right up the middle. Good old-fashioned smash-mouth football there by Geneva to get the first down on the third and short.
Kind of been what Geneva's done thus far with Lippiat, is run him up the middle. They kind of started to go more to Luptak, and Waynesburg got distracted, and Lippiat had a chance there as Lippiat, the handoff and the pitch from Luptak, and there we go. Geneva has the ball at the 30. He's going to get that brought down right in front of the 25-yard line. And that was Mavero on the catch. Luptak just pitched that one over to his guy to pick up the extra yards. We do have flags on the field. We're going to have to see what those are all about. You can see here Luptak with the little pitch. And there he goes, Mavero. And looks like there was a block in the back maybe. Luptak, great play there by Luptak, but we're looking to see. You can see quite a few referee flags. The yellow flags are all over the place. All of them saw that one.
Yeah, it looked like flag day at Waynesburg. We saw 4 flags, and really when there's a penalty like that right in front of an official, that's what will happen. That'll back up Geneva's. That was holding a 10-yard penalty, and instead of 1st and 10, will make it 1st and 20.
Geneva's offense still confident in their ability to run this ball and pick it up, but once again, not easy on 1st and long. Luptak pitches it once again to he pitched that one to Pete, but Pete's going to be brought down behind the line of scrimmage, looks like, but again, Luptak trying to get fancy with some of those pitches, and it's just been stop after stop. And Jesse Kane was the man that made the stop for Waynesburg. You can see right here, Luptak finds Pete, but Jesse Kane was all over him right there and brought him down.
Yeah, and not only was Jesse Kane in perfect position to stop there, so was Tanko, to where if Luptak took it, he tackled him even though he didn't keep the ball.
And that one was to Lippiat, but he's not going to go anywhere. Waynesburg all over him thus far in this ball game. They said no thank you to Lippiat on that one.
Lucas Donnelly and Joel Zellum was a combination making the tackle on that play, bringing up a big 3rd and long here for this Geneva offense, and they might have to do something that they don't like to do a lot, which pass the ball here on 3rd and long, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see if they want to go through the air, but they definitely like to remain on the ground. It's probably the last play of the quarter potentially. Luptak dropping back, trying to buy himself time once again. He's rolling out, and he's going to avoid being brought down. Luptak fires this one downfield. It's going to be caught. And on that catch was Monteleone for Geneva, and it looks like we've got a Yellow Jacket down on the field. Slow to get up, but he is up now. That was Mahalik was there on the field, but that's going to wrap. So Mahalik was slow to get up, but he's back. He's back up. 2.5 seconds left here in the first quarter. And it's going to be 4th down and long for this Geneva offense. But once again, in Waynesburg territory. So we're going to see what this offense selects to do. You saw that. It looks like they're actually going to run down the clock there. And that's going to wrap it up for the first quarter of action. Waynesburg on top of Geneva, 7-0. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back here on the Waynesburg University Sports Network.
Waynesburg 7, Geneva nothing. Waynesburg leads Geneva 7-0 on this 24-yard touchdown scamper by Justin Flack, and now set up by a fumble recovery by Waynesburg's Ben Dross on a punt for Geneva, and Waynesburg now has its first lead of the season. Now 4th and 3 for Geneva. They are 0 for 1 so far on 4th downs. 4th and 3 here at the Waynesburg 33. Now Luptak, he gives to Lippiat up the middle, and we'll see where the spot is. It's awfully close. Lippiat on the carry.
We'll see what the officials mark.
And Tanko on the stop for the Yellow Jackets. Geneva signaling that they got it. Obviously, Waynesburg going to disagree with that one.
Yeah, and it will be just enough for a first down, as he got 3, and it was pretty much 3.5 as Chris Smithley is irate right now at the 30. As here's the replay of Lippiat just falling forward at the 30 just to get enough of the first down, as Chris Smithley calls Waynesburg's first touchdown of the half. And let's talk about the head coach for Waynesburg, Chris Smithley. He's in his 3rd season, has a record of 5-19. Before at Waynesburg, before he was the full-time head coach, he was the interim head coach in 2017, and in 2016 he was the offensive coordinator at Waynesburg, and he was the secondary coach and defensive line coach between 2009 and 2012. Before he was at Waynesburg, he coached at W&J 30 minutes up north from 2016 to 2012, where he was the secondary coach, special teams coordinator, and linebackers coach. And while he was a coach there, W&J ranked 9th in the nation in interceptions in 2014. He has a bachelor's degree of science, he has a master's degree of business administration degree from Waynesburg, and at Waynesburg he played quarterback, running back, wide receiver. So that is the resume on Waynesburg head coach Chris Smithley. We have a measurement, and let's see what they rule here. It's going to be very close, and it's short.
Waynesburg defense with a key stop. What a great effort, Natanko. Just, making that stop. And again, this Geneva offense, they were able to move the ball this drive a little bit better, but still, whenever Waynesburg needs to get a stop, they've done just that today. And whenever they need a conversion, they've gotten that on offense.
Yeah, Tanko made the stop for Waynesburg, and Geneva's now 0 for 2 on 4th downs today. Coming into this game, Geneva was 4-7 on 4th down, so make that 4 of 9. And Waynesburg, once again, leading 7-0 last drive. Justin Flack scored the 24-yard touchdown. Now here's the give to Flack up the middle. He'll get a couple of yards. He'll be brought down at about the 35-yard line. Dakota Allen making the tackle for Geneva, the 5'9" junior from Plant City, Florida. 2nd and 5 now for this Yellow Jacket offense.
This Waynesburg team, going back to that measurement and the excitement you see from this Waynesburg team, this is the most energized I feel like I've seen them all season. They've, game 5 of the season. This definitely feels like the most engaged and energized I've seen a team, especially this far into a game, because a couple of these other games have not been going as smoothly up to this point.
Flack once again, up the middle, he falls forward to get a couple of yards. Casey now makes the stop on the play. Picked up 2 yards there to make it a 3rd and short for Waynesburg. So far on 3rd downs for Waynesburg, they are 2 of 3 in this game,
which is not typically what they're at for the season, just 27% of 3rd down conversions. But this Geneva team, as I mentioned earlier, gives up over 40% of 3rd down attempts and allows conversions. So this is not a great 3rd down defense that Geneva's putting out onto the field.
Raines now gets the snap. He's back to throw. He tries to go to the flat, but that was incomplete, out of bounds. That intended receiver was Sean Brennan. 4th and 3 now at its own 43-yard line for Waynesburg. And Waynesburg will bring the punting unit on to the field. They'll bring on the punter, Caden Roberts, the 6'2 junior. And back deep for Geneva is Peyton Shell, the 6' junior. He is standing at his own 30-yard line.
That pass by Raines just a little ahead of his guy, a little ahead of Brennan. Brennan, was open, but just couldn't get to that one in time.
Signaling fair catch is Shell, and he will make that fair catch at his own 31-yard line. And that is where Geneva will take over. In their 2 offensive possessions, they've been stopped on 4th down. They've been able to move the ball pretty well against this Waynesburg defense, but in crucial situations, this Waynesburg defense has been able to step up. In both times, we're in Waynesburg territory as Geneva was threatening to score. That Waynesburg's defense got the 4th down stop.
Geneva's 1 of 5 on 3rd and 4th down attempts, so definitely just those later downs have been a struggle for them today.
Luptek now gives it to Lipiotti. He has a little bit of a hole as he is brought down at his own 40-yard line. Jesse Kane made the tackle there along with Brandon Tanko. It'll be a gain of 8 yards, make it 2nd and 2 for Geneva at its own 40-yard line. 7-0 here. Waynesburg with the lead. 12:50 left in the second quarter. Justin Flack with a 24-yard rushing touchdown for Waynesburg. 2nd and 2 for the Golden Tornadoes. Luptak now barks out signals. Now here's the option, and he is absolutely blistered in the backfield there. What a read there by Caleb Stevens, the senior, for Waynesburg for a loss on the play, bringing up 3rd down for Waynesburg. As Luptak, he was going right, then he cut back, and Stevens was just right there to greet him.
As you can see right here on your screen, Luptak, takes that snap. He was there. He had an opportunity, but, just stopped. He was, tried to make something happen there, but Waynesburg was all over them, and that offensive line just could not stop the defensive line, and Waynesburg's guys won it in the trenches on that play.
3rd and 5 for Lipiotti. He's able to pick up the 1st down at his own 45-yard line. Alec Kendall made the tackle, but a big hole there by Lipiotti. Great job after that negative play by Geneva and Luptak to get that positive play for the first down and to move the chains. Here's the replay. Lipiotti just once again just ran up the middle and had a great hole as Geneva there that time won the battle at the line of scrimmage.
Lipiotti now at 42 rushing yards on 8 attempts.
Now Luptak, he will pitch it back to Mavera, but he's not going to have much running room. We have a flag on the play in the backfield. Wait for our lead official, Harris. We have a holding call. We have holding on Geneva. It'll be a 10-yard penalty, first down, so they were at its own 45-yard line. That penalty will back them up to its own 35-yard line to make it 1st and 20 for Geneva. There's the hold there. Looks like that hold was on Caden Harden right in front of your screen there. As he held Luke Magnus, the safety for Waynesburg, as Mavero, he didn't really have much running room anyway, so holding call, negative play, makes it even more negative, make it 1st and 20 now. Luptak now, he's back to throw. He now throws deep down the middle. He has a man open, and it is caught inside the 30 by Peyton Shell. What a leaping grab by him. That's the big play that Geneva needed to try to get back in this game as he's brought down at the Waynesburg 29-yard line. Vinny Sammartino was in coverage on the play and made the tackle.
One of those things is we don't know. I mean, you can see here, Luptak has an arm on him. He can throw it pretty well. It's just one of those things that nobody knows if he can because they don't try it very often. So whenever they're down in a game like this, the triple option isn't necessarily a formation you can run for comebacks. And, they definitely realized they need to start moving it upfield, and that play gave them everything they needed. And it was great and gets them near the red zone. They're getting in Waynesburg territory even deeper now.
Lipiotti there picks up about 2 yards on the play as Hannick and Hendel were in on the tackle for Waynesburg to make it actually a 2nd and 7. Ball at the Waynesburg 26-yard line as Geneva's looking to answer Waynesburg's touchdown that Waynesburg scored on a Justin Fleck 24-yard rushing touchdown back in the first quarter.
That was the longest passing play of the season for Luptak as well.
Luptak now, he cuts in the middle, but he is just swarmed there. What a tackle there by Lucas Donley. That was a hard hit there on the play as really a gain of no gain there. 3rd and 7, Donley, the 6'3 sophomore out of St. Clairsville, Ohio. Same situation here, 3rd and 6 for Geneva as they had in the first quarter where it was 4th and short. They went for it and they weren't able to get it, but big 3rd down here for both teams. Luptak now takes his place under center. Now he pitches it, a low pitch there by to Pete, but he's able to recover his own fumble, but that's not going to be anywhere close to a first down as he picked that up at the Waynesburg 30 to make that about a 4th and 11. And the Geneva offense is going to stay out there as once again Geneva is, as there's the replay here, as Pete was just not able to corral that toss by Luptak, and the best thing he could do to not avoid a complete disaster is just hold on to that lay on that football and recover it as Geneva over 2 and 4th downs will go for it. Luptak now back to throw. He throws down the middle, and it is incomplete.
Nearly a great catch, though. That was, just unable to reel that one in.
Geneva now 0 for 3 on 4th downs. That intended receiver was Nick Montalone as Waynesburg leads 7-0 with 8:27 remaining in the second quarter, and Waynesburg's offense will take the field.
Looked like Mihalik might have had his hand on the jersey. He might have gotten away with a little PI on that one from what I saw up here. Wasn't 100% sure, but in real time it looked like he might have gotten away with a play there, but refs didn't call it. Waynesburg gets the ball back. Win-win situation for this Waynesburg team.
Raines now comes out in the pistol. He gives to Flack, and he picks up a couple yards as he's tackled at his own 36-yard line. Dakota Allen once again on the stop, making it a 2nd and 4. So a good gain there for Waynesburg on first down. As first 2 drives for Waynesburg, they came out in the shotgun, but now they're changing up a little bit of formations. As last drive, Raines was in the pistol, and he's in the pistol to begin this drive. 2nd and 4, Waynesburg at its own 36-yard line. Raines now takes the snap. He fakes any little option there, and he's able to plunge his way forward for a first down at its own 41-yard line. Dakota Allen and Dalton Roseman were in on the stop on that play, so he got 1 more yard than he needed to, but still good enough to move the chains for this Waynesburg offense. As you don't really see Raines run an option play like that. That kind of threw the Geneva defense off guard, but it worked.
Dakota Allen's already at 6 tackles on the day, 3 solo, 3 assists. So Dakota Allen having a big game thus far. Wasn't able to stop the first down there, but still bringing guys down left and right.
Now Flack with the carry. He has nowhere to go on that play. O'Neal caught and made the tackle there, as that's going to be right at the line of scrimmage really for no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10 for Waynesburg, as Flack had really nowhere to go. As soon as he started his forward motion, he was greeted right there by Cotton, and now coming into the and now Howell and Flack, 2 running backs into the game for Waynesburg.
Flack and Lippiatti have both have 9 attempts for 43 yards today, so both running backs for Geneva and Waynesburg starting off exactly on the same foot through 9 attempts each.
Raines now takes the snap, play action, rolls to his right. He goes and it is caught for a first down inside Geneva territory. That is by TJ Johnson. Great play there. Derek Steen made the tackle for Geneva, but Waynesburg is in Golden Tornado territory. Waynesburg first down. Great play there. Great throw. Raines there. He rolls out to his left, and he just floated up there for his big man Johnson to get a great throw over the Geneva defender. 1st and 10 for Waynesburg at the Geneva 41-yard line. Waynesburg looking to add to its 7-0 lead.
He really threaded the needle on that one. A little bit of a risky throw, but he placed it perfectly. I mean, you can't do it much better than that. Great play by Raines to start off and convert that one.
Now Flack goes up the middle, but he has nowhere to go once again. Combination of Giovanni Segura and Hayden Sklarbaum made the tackle on the play for the Golden Tornadoes. As looks like they gave him the 40, a little bit of a generous spot it looked like. It'll be 2nd and 9 for Waynesburg. As back-to-back runs by Flack really have had not much success after Flack had the 24-yard rushing touchdown in the first quarter to give Waynesburg the 7-0 lead.
Flack seems like outside of that run hasn't had too much success, but I think Waynesburg will take it for what it is, giving them that first lead of the season.
Raines now a little shovel option, pitches it back to Flack, and he gets out of bounds. Great effort. He tried to dive to get extra yards, but he'll be marked out at looks like about the 34-yard line. Gary Weaver made the tackle. As there's the option play, Flack was able to get a little bit of a crease on the near sideline, bringing up a 3rd and short, 3rd and 2.
Flack, having himself, like you said earlier, he's having a pretty solid season in the games he's played so far. Today, that 24-yard touchdown run, not a big guy either, just standing at 5'7", but he runs up the middle through some bigger guys like it's nothing. He's definitely runs a lot bigger than he is.
Option as Raines keeps it, and he is not going to get the first down there. Great read by the Geneva defense. Gary Weaver and Casey now are in on the stop for Waynesburg. No gain. Will be still fourth down for Waynesburg, and the offense is going to stay out there on the field.
Coming into today, Waynesburg converting 31% of their 4th down attempts, and Geneva allowing about 36% of 4th down attempts to be good.
4th and 2. This will be Waynesburg's first 4th down that they're going to try to convert. As there you see the lead sticks there and where the line of scrimmage is at. 4th and 2 for Waynesburg. Big play here. As now we have a timeout called by Chris Smithley in Waynesburg. That is Waynesburg's second timeout of the game, so they have one more timeout left. And let's go over the PAC standings. So how these two teams got together, it's called the PAC Crossover game. What that means is Geneva, they finish in 4th place in the North Division that had 4 teams. In the South Division, Waynesburg finished in 4th place. And the way they determine the extra game is Waynesburg and Geneva, while they both finish in last place, so they'll face each other, and Waynesburg is hosting this game because Geneva hosted Waynesburg last year. That's how they determine that. The other game going on right now is St. Vincent and Carnegie Mellon. In the PAC title game is W&J and Westminster. In the PAC crossover games, W&J looking for his 27th PAC title. Westminster looking for its first. Now 4th and 2 for Waynesburg. Rains in the shotgun. He's back to throw. He throws in the flat. It is incomplete. Nowhere near his intended receiver, Sean Brennan. Big stop there by the Geneva defense to force a turnover on downs like the Waynesburg defense has on all of Geneva's possessions. But 1st and 10 now. There it is. It just really missed the timing there on that throw. Great coverage also on O'Neal Cotton, but throw is nowhere in the zip code of Sean Brennan.
Second time on a down like that, needing to convert that. Rains and Brennan have just not been in great communication. Rains has missed Brennan on 2 throws already today, so definitely one of those things they need to maybe work on that timing of the routes or something along those lines, because it hasn't been great communication between those two.
Now Lubtech, he keeps it. Now he pitches it on the play, picking up about 2 yards on the play is Mavero. Alec Hendel once again in on that tackle. Will go to the Geneva 36-yard line. Will be 2nd and 8. Score update for you. Westminster leads W&J 14-7 with about 13 minutes left in the second quarter. Once again, that's the PAC title game. W&J was in first in the South Division, and Westminster was in first in the North Division. 2nd and 7 for Geneva. Lubtech now takes his place. He now runs and he pitches it eventually. And getting that first down is Pete out at his own 45-yard line. Braden Mahalik forced him out of bounds, but not before Pete got the first down for Geneva.
Lubtech is not afraid to just pitch it to his guys when he's running. If he finds that he's in a situation that he can't gain any more yards and he sees someone behind him that might have an opening, Lubtech is going to get that to him. He wants to gain those yards. Every single yard counts for this guy.
Lubtech once again under center in the formation we've seen all game for Geneva. Now he gives it to Lipiotti up the middle. He gets into Waynesburg territory and keeps pushing his way forward. Progress is going to give him enough for the first down at the Waynesburg 44-yard line. Alec Hendel and Jesse Kane were in on the tackles for Waynesburg. But great running there by Lipiotti. He's coming into this game. He had 57 attempts for 244 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. The freshman out of Salem, Ohio. Lubtech now, he pitches it. And Pete has a lot of room down that sideline, and he's going to take it all the way for a touchdown. But hold the phone, everyone. We have a flag near the line of scrimmage.
That one was thrown pretty early on into this play. Not quite sure. Didn't get a look at what it was, but we're going to have to see what happens here.
Offsides on Waynesburg. Obviously, the penalties declined, and the touchdown stands. So Blake Pete with the 44-yard rushing touchdown on that play, as Geneva is 1 point away from tying up this game. Daniel Norris will attempt the extra point for Geneva.
Pete showing off a little bit of that speed that he's got, just getting it down the sidelines. Always some of the most fun plays in football when a guy just gets right down the sideline and nothing but him and green grass in front of him and then the end zone. So tie ball game now, and this is one of the other things about the triple option offense, Adam, is a minute 39 left in the first half. These games with that offense go quickly because, less passing, clock isn't stopping as much. These halves with the triple offense fly by. It feels like the game just started a couple minutes ago, and here we are nearing halftime.
That was Pete's second touchdown of the season. Coming into this game, he had 21 attempts for 100 yards, averaging 4.8 yards per carry. And coming up at halftime, we have multiple features featuring video about former Waynesburg pitcher Mason Miller, a feature about Waynesburg goalkeeper Adam Dolan, a feature about Waynesburg basketball player Matt Popek, a story about Pine Richland head coach Eric Kasparovich getting fired.
You're going to get to know a lot of Waynesburg athletes at halftime, and you're going to get the latest scoop on what's happening at Pine Richland, as most sporting fans, Whippeal fans, have heard about the firing of him, and what's been going on there has been quite controversial.
Yeah, and the last feature will be on Waynesburg's own running back, Justin Flack, is all the features you will see at halftime coming up soon. A minute 39 away. Here's a kick now from Nordis. It is a deep kick sending Moeller in his own end zone, and he'll just take the knee for the touchback, where Waynesburg will take over at its own 25-yard line.
We're going to see what Waynesburg does here offensively. Going into the half tie ball game, getting a score early, this is definitely the best this team's probably felt going into the locker room at halftime all season. But it still would be nice if they would like to drive down, get that score, would have liked to have held on to that lead for the half. We're going to see what they do. Are they going to be aggressive with the passing game? Are they going to try and get Flack a little bit more work? We're just going to have to find out. But they do receive the ball to start the second half. That's another thing to look out for.
And Waynesburg with only one timeout here in the first half. Raines now, he'll just hand it off to Flack, and he is greeted rudely once again at the line of scrimmage.
Flack on the carry.
Nicholas Odavani made the stop for Geneva. Also, Giovanni Segura made the tackle as well. As now Geneva calls its first timeout of the first half, bring up a 2nd and 10. So Flack really hasn't had a whole lot of running room after that 24-yard rushing touchdown in the first quarter. And
Flack only 12 carries for 50 yards thus far, still averaging 4.2 yards per carry, but 50 rushing yards, 24 of those came on one play. So outside of that one, like you mentioned, Adam, not been the most successful day for him on the ground.
Here's the Flack touchdown in the first quarter from 24 yards. That was his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. That was off a fumble recovery on a Geneva punt return attempt. That fumble recovery was made by Ben Dross, and calling that timeout for Geneva's head coach, Gina DeMarco. He's in his 28th season, has a record coming into today of 150 and 134. He's now the winningest head coach at Geneva, and he passed Gene Sullivan in 2003, and he has coached at Georgia Tech in West Virginia under Hall of Fame coaches Curry and Nalen. Now Raines, he gives it to Flack. Once again, he gets up past the 25-yard line, gets to about the 30-yard line for a gain of 5, as Geneva will call its second timeout. Derek Sneed, the 5'11 sophomore, made the tackle there for Geneva, and there's that run as Flack was able to break one tackle before getting to the 30-yard line for a 5-yard gain now. Geneva with calling that timeout. They have one left in the first half. Back-to-back timeouts to where if Geneva's able to get a stop, Geneva wants to try to leave some time on the clock to try to get maybe at least a field goal or even a touchdown on their last possession of the first half.
Well, we saw Geneva was not afraid to pass it in this half, more so than they've been the rest of the season. So Geneva, even if Waynesburg gets stopped here and has to punt it away, Geneva might not be afraid to go downfield. You saw that Luptak can do it. He can complete long passes, and they can gain yards chunks at a time, although they prefer to do it the old-fashioned way with that triple option, just yard by yard. But they're not afraid to go downfield today thus far, so we're going to see if they get this ball back. There could be some sparks to end this half.
4 wideouts on the field for Waynesburg. Raines takes the snap. Blitz coming, and he is going to be sacked on the play by Geneva. Hayden Scallerbaum was in there on the sack, along with Levi Railing, bringing up a 4th and long, as Rangers had no time to throw at all. As Geneva will call its last timeout of the first half with 1:17 left in the first half.
Could not have gone any better for this Geneva defense. Get the stop, make these guys lose, losing yardage even on that one with the big sack, and put your team in a position where they can maybe put a few points on the board. And if Geneva goes into the halftime with a lead, that would be something, that we probably didn't expect based on the way this first half has been playing out, and B, it would be great for them to be able to score quickly before Waynesburg gets the ball to kick off the second half. But we'll see what Geneva does, and we'll see what Waynesburg does here on this punt play.
Yeah, it's a 4th and 14. Waynesburg now the ball at its own 23-yard line. Roberts back inside his 10 at the 7-yard line. The punt, and Shell is back at the Waynesburg logo at midfield to receive the punt for Geneva. Here's now the punt by Roberts. Almost a block there, as way short of Shell will get a friendly Waynesburg roll. It'll roll inside the 40-yard line of Geneva, and the ball will die down at the Geneva 39-yard line. That's where Geneva will take over. Game tied, 1:04 left for Geneva in the first half. Geneva, they have no timeouts on that last drive. There was a 44-yard rushing touchdown by Blake Pete for Geneva.
Luptak today, 3 of 4, 61 yards, longest completion being the 36-yarder earlier in the half to Shell. So we'll see what happens. Shell, Pete, and Monteleone have the catches for this Geneva team.
They're going to stay on the ground here with Lippiat, and he's not going to get much rushing room on that play, as Caleb Stevens was in on the tackle. One of the 12 seniors that was honored on this team for senior night, as we're approaching under a minute here, 45 seconds, as Geneva will hurry, 2nd and 8. Now Luptak back to throw. He throws at about midfield, and that is complete to Monteleone for the first down. So he's able to stop the clock inside Waynesburg territory. Mahalik made the tackle for the Yellow Jackets. 35 seconds left for this Geneva offense. Ball at the Waynesburg 47-yard line. Once again, Waynesburg will receive to start the second half. So Geneva wants to get something going here. Luptak back to throw once again. He's getting pressured. He throws it really to nobody, as great pressure there by the Waynesburg defense. Looked like Patrick Carlson Jr. was one of the guys pressuring Luptak for Waynesburg, bringing up 2nd and 10 with 30 seconds left.
This Waynesburg defensive line has been very solid tonight. I mean, anytime Luptak has had to pass, they've been making him move around a little bit in the pocket, giving him pressure, applying that pressure, and they've been handling this triple option run game pretty well thus far.
2nd and 10, Luptak. He's back to throw. Getting pressured, and that is complete at the Waynesburg 34 to Monteleone. Once again, he gets out of bounds for the first down. Mahalik made the tackle, so that is 2 now first down catches to Monteleone. Great throw there as he just came back and got out of bounds at the Waynesburg 34. Now 25 seconds left.
Luptak, whenever he's asked to step up to the plate today, he has delivered every time with his arm. Very impressive first half for him through the air, which for a quarterback like him that doesn't have to pass too much, this has definitely been one of maybe his most impressive game of the season thus far, but certainly playing out of his mind to convert these long downs.
Luptak now, deep drop. He rolls out now, and he has plenty of space to run. Great juke move there as he gets inside the 30-yard line, and he is hit hard there.
Couldn't get out of bounds, though.
Yeah, Geneva now has to hurry. 6 seconds left, and now Luptak will just spike it, and they'll hope for a field goal attempt. Bringing up a 3rd down. Here's the replay as Luptak. Great job of him improvising on the play, but great job by Waynesburg to keep him in bounds as Stevens was there to make the tackle now.
Yeah, really great play there by Stevens, because Luptak looked like he was going to get around the one defender and gain some more yards and get out of bounds. And Stevens, great effort, great hustle to stop him from getting out of bounds and leaving them just this final play.
Geneva at the Waynesburg 27-yard line. They're going to run one more play. Luptek now, deep drop. He'll now go towards the end zone, but that is incomplete, deflected. Great play there by Luke Mangus.
Still leaving half a second, though, it looks like, on the clock up at the scoreboard. 0.5, but we'll see what they do.
Here's a replay of that deep throw from Luptak. Great job by Luke Mangus to break that up, as Shell is the intended receiver. Is now Daniel Nordas will go on to attempt the 43-yard field goal for Geneva to try to give them the lead at the end of the first half. Just half a second left. Kick is up and it's blocked on the play by Waynesburg, as there's a scrum for it at the 40-yard line, but it's not going to matter, as Waynesburg defense stepping up in key situations there. As trying to see who made the block, but that's how the first half ends, on a blocked field goal.
A little unclear there from what we have thus far. Still trying to figure it out, but regardless, just way to put in the hustle, get through, and stop that field goal from making it in, giving this team a great opportunity.
All right, so Waynesburg and Geneva are tied at 7, and we will take a break here, as coming up after this short PSA, we will have all the features that I was telling you about. And Waynesburg and Geneva are tied at 7 on the Waynesburg University Sports Network.
Piracy is a crime. If you see someone downloading copyrighted material without paying for it, then you should inform the authorities immediately. If you download any copyrighted material from the internet without paying for it, then you should go to jail.
The following is a presentation of the Waynesburg University Sports Network.
Hello and welcome into the Waynesburg University Sports Network halftime show. We're hoping you are enjoying the first half of the game between Waynesburg and Geneva. I'm Riley Holsinger, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different for the halftime show. Normally we try to have an interview with an athlete, coach, or a conference official, but today we'll be spotlighting 5 different feature stories. Over the course of the halftime show, you'll hear from former Waynesburg pitcher Mason Miller, Yellow Jackets goalkeeper Adam Dolan, men's basketball player Matt Popek, former Pine Richland coach Eric Kasparovich, and Waynesburg University running back Justin Flack. Former Waynesburg University pitcher Mason Miller was an ace during his time with the Waynesburg University baseball team, but COVID-19 cut his senior season short and his plans for the future. Some may ask, what happened to Mason Miller and where is he today? I have more on that. Mason Miller dominated this mound right here during his time at Waynesburg University, but COVID-19 cut his senior season short and what could have been his baseball career. But here comes the curveball. Miller and the rest of the Waynesburg baseball team only fit 10 games into their schedule before the NCAA canceled the baseball season, and for a moment, it looked like game over for his collegiate career.
Yeah, I mean, that was a thought for sure.
There were rumors that Miller could have been one of the 9.9% of all NCAA baseball players to have gotten drafted in the MLB. But the league trimmed the number of rounds from 40 to 5 last year, making those odds even slimmer.
I talked to some teams and things like that, but it wasn't, once the draft was 5 rounds, it was kind of realistic to assume that I wasn't going to get picked up.
Then the NCAA made the call to add an extra season of eligibility for spring sport athletes, and Miller started looking into his options at the Division I level. Thanks to some local connections, Gardner Webb's head coach and Pittsburgh native Jim Chester stumbled upon the Bethel Park prodigy.
I guess it's one of the beauties of, having relationships from back where you're from.
Among those relationships, Waynesburg University Athletic Director Adam Jack, Miller's high school coach Tony Fisher, and Miller's high school assistant coach Joe Rinaldi.
The people that I mentioned to you, I trust, I know there's lifelong relationships there.
Chester had some competition, but won the recruiting race. Miller made the flip from Waynesburg to Gardner Webb.
Just for an environment similar to Waynesburg, I guess.
Going from a D3 school to D1 was an adjustment, but he pulled through with some impressive performances.
I'm definitely a more complete pitcher than I was a year ago. But at the same time, it's the same game. It's the same distance from the mound of the plate, same field, things like that. Like nothing changes truly, besides the talent that you're facing.
The one thing Miller misses other than punching batters out easier at Waynesburg is
teammates, for sure. Those guys are people that I made lifelong friends with.
He's a great kid. He's a great teammate. I know when he was here, he set a great example.
He'll be in my wedding one day for sure. I've told him when I have a kid, I want him to grow up to be just like you, because he's the ideal kid, man. Good grades, great personality, hell of a baseball player.
I was sad to see him go. The baseball team was too.
They still stay in touch, mostly by text, often breaking down each performance, good and bad.
Probably get on Chris the most of anyone, but he gives it right back too. So,
if I have a bad game, he'll text me and say, "What's up with your 2 strikeouts today?" And if he gives up a few earned runs or a home run, I always mess with him about that. I'm like, so would you throw right down the middle or something?
As for his new teammates, they're happy to have him on the roster.
Not just because he's on our team, but he's the best pitcher in the country.
He's projected to go between rounds 2 to 6 in this year's MLB draft this July. What seemed like a dream only last year is now on the brink of becoming big league reality.
Listen, I'd draft Mason Miller in a heartbeat.
Despite the hype, Miller remains humble.
I think I've put myself on the map enough.
Miller did more than put himself on the map enough. He's among the most sought-after prospects. Coach Chester's been fielding calls from
every single MLB organization.
How often do they contact Coach Chester?
Daily.
Looking back, Miller describes his story as surreal.
It's crazy, man, for real. It's not something I thought I'd be doing, and it's amazing how much support I have from back at Waynesburg, from home, from all of that. It just makes your heart feel good, all that stuff. So,
reporting from Waynesburg, I'm Riley Holsinger.
For senior athletes across the campus of Waynesburg University, these cheering crowds will soon fade as they move on to their next big goals in life after graduation. All rings true for senior goalkeeper and team captain Adam Dolan. His love for the game started young on Pee Wee soccer fields.
Probably 4 years old, and I've loved it ever since. I really enjoyed it when I was very young because the field was really small. You could score lots of goals. Once the field got bigger, I liked playing goalie a lot more, a lot less running.
But even with his dislike of running, Dolan never stopped working hard, always pushing himself to keep up with the team.
Dolan's hands giving him 3 saves this afternoon.
Adam will freely admit that the cardio portion of soccer is not maybe his favorite thing, especially being a goalkeeper. But, he is a guy that he's going to work and he's going to bust and give it everything he has running-wise, maybe in the conditioning, just like a field player does, even though his position doesn't demand the same from him.
During his time at Waynesburg, Dolan was awarded PAC Defensive Player of the Week, once in his sophomore year and once this season.
It means a lot to see all of the hard work be recognized. I don't think a lot of people understand how much effort and hard work that athletes put into their sport, and it really means a lot to be recognized with that.
Dolan's senior season was faced with unprecedented change, with COVID-19 raging on. But even with the restrictions, the team grew close as they pushed on through regular COVID testing to continue playing.
I accepted that we probably weren't going to play, but the university did well, collaborating with the PAC to make sure that we could play and raise enough money so that we could get tested all the time.
And through all the games, goals, and saves, Adam said the best times he had on the team were the ones spent with friends.
The memories that I enjoy are just like hanging with my teammates, bus rides home from wins, those are really fun. And just things like that, like not the things you would think of on the field, but like hanging out with your friends.
Earlier in the season, it was announced that this would be Coach Heat Heiss's last season with the team. He said this senior class that he's leaving with will always be special to him.
It's a class I'll always kind of be tied to, and It's been fun to see their growth, Adam specifically, but everyone in the class, see where they started and now where they are as kind of young boys, young men coming in, and now they're about to go out into the world. And, in Adam's case, he's got a job lined up already, and he's going to go be successful in that.
The last game of the men's soccer season is Saturday, April 24th, starting at 3:30 p.m., and it's also senior night. For Channel 14 News, I'm Rebecca Vaughn.
This season, Matt Popek has walked the ball up this court, but that wasn't a guarantee, as last season he walked off the court with a season-ending injury.
3 ball from the top of the key. Come on. 11 points. 3 3-pointers for Matt Popek.
Before draining threes like that, Popek had to overcome some adversity to get back on the court this season. Last season, he suffered a knee injury that required surgery in Waynesburg's loss to Geneva College. Now, he averaged 15.1 points per game, 27 minutes per game, and is 6th in the President's Athletic Conference with a 78.4% free throw percentage to finish the season. Popek knew something wasn't right when he was in pain and his knee was swelling after the game against Allegheny.
I could tell that something serious was going on, and that made me really emotional. Like, I remember crying after that game just because I knew that something was wrong.
Popek never had a doubt that he could play basketball again, even though other people did.
That never really went through my head, so I always, throughout the whole rehab process, what was going through my head was that I'm doing this so I can play again.
It took Popek almost 1 month after his surgery to start therapy, but it took him even longer to get back on the basketball court to do any type of drills.
I would say probably close to 6 months before I got on the court again and was able to kind of do some lateral movement and some shooting, some leaving my feet a little bit, some jumping, and just doing basketball motions.
Popek was thankful that he was able to play in Waynesburg's first game of the season against Westminster.
It was just a blessing to be able to go out and play again. When I'm hooping, there's no feeling like it. There's really no fear going through my heart, nothing timid going through my mind. When I'm out there, I'm playing as hard as I can.
Head coach Tim Fusina likes what Popek has brought to the table to help his team.
He's done a great job coming back. He's had to guard different people. He's done a very good job of guarding the ball. He's done a very good job of handling the ball and helping rebound.
Popek was supposed to be a senior this season. He was able to get a medical red shirt before the season started so he could play for 2 more years. Popek took the red shirt because he wants to play basketball as much as possible.
I love playing, and I love competing, especially at the college level. It's a blessing that I'm able to do that God gave me talents to do that.
For WCTV Sports, I'm Adam Morgante.
High school football is a big deal in Western Pennsylvania, and it doesn't get much bigger than at Pine Richland High School. In the last 8 seasons, the Rams have won over 80 games, 4 WPIAL championships, and 2 state championships. But that doesn't matter, apparently, because the administration elected last week to not renew the contract of Eric Kasparovich.
We're out here just supporting him and trying to get him back because he's such a valuable asset to Pine Richland and the whole community.
These thoughts are echoed by many players, coaches, and fans across the city and state. The Pine Richland School District fired Eric Kasparovich and his whole staff via an email last week.
I was shocked. I think at first everyone was trying to kind of figure out what was going on and what had happened. And
Mike White of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette had the initial article, which included reported hazing allegations as the reason for the firing. But a lot of people thought that was bogus.
Someone was getting, whipped with a towel or something else. If that's what they're going to fire him over, then, every high school coach in the country should be fired for hazing because that stuff happens everywhere.
DiNucci was one of the best quarterbacks statistically in the history of the WPIAL. Kasparovich was his head coach for 2 seasons, and DiNucci, like dozens of other players, have nothing but kind words and fond memories of the man.
He cares more about you as a person than he does a football player, and as long as you leave the program a better person than you were the day you got there, then you were a successful player in his mind.
Another one of the reported reasonings for the Kasparovich firing was not enough stress on the academic side of things. However, DiNucci and many other Pine Richland players have received scholarships to play football at the Division I level.
I think if you look at, the number of players from Pine Richland who have gone on to play at college before Coach K got there and after Coach K, I think the numbers are probably, astonishing in the favor of, when Coach K has been there.
When the position for head football coach at Pine Richland became officially open, Kasparovich reapplied. Coaches from all across the state have come forward in petition that no one other than Kasparovich should be the applicant for the job. Jack Hillgrove, WCTV Sports.
Have you ever been to the Everly Library? If not, you should, because it's great. They have books of all different genres: history, biography, fiction. Try The Evolution of Life, Life of Pi, or Jurassic Park. So what if books aren't your thing? Try movies like Frozen, or TV shows like Lost. Books and DVDs aren't the only thing though. Take a trip to the second floor. Welcome to the Writing Center. These tutors will tell you everything you need to know about writing a paper, and they'll help revise your essays. Now let's head back down. Behold, the Knox Learning Center. Need to print something out 5 minutes before your next class because you procrastinated? No problem. You can also print off pictures of dogs. Because, well, you can. So grab your homework, laptop, and textbook, and study diligently. Bring your lunch too. Actually, you can't. That's illegal. Now you know the Everly Library. Stop by anytime. Seriously, it's open all week.
Waynesburg sophomore Justin Flack is a criminal justice major and the current running back for the Waynesburg University Yellow Jackets, awaiting to play in his second college football season. Before coming to Waynesburg, Flack was a standout player at Derry High School, winning over 30 games as a Trojan.
I had a really good high school coach. I enjoyed playing in high school. We were very successful. My senior year, we went to the WIPIO championship game at Heinz Field. And so that was kind of my highlight of my my high school career. But it was a team effort overall.
He was even committed to the University of Mount Union, but plans would change for the running back.
So originally, I went to Mount for about a week, and then something just told me that that I should go back to Waynesburg. I made the call to come back here, and I'm glad that I made that decision.
Head coach Chris Smithley is very complimentary of Flack and realizes the potential that Flack has as a player and as a leader for the Yellow Jackets.
Justin is a guy that when he puts his mind to something, there's nothing that gets in his way. Justin wants to be the best that there is. He wants to be the best running back in the conference. He wants to be the best running back to ever play at Waynesburg.
A strange offseason, however, has thrown off the routine for the Jackets, but Flack understands the proper work needed in order to be ready for the season in the spring.
We're not where we want to be as a football team right now, but we know we have a lot. We know we have a lot to work on, and so I'm excited to see where we can take this thing. And it's got to be a team effort from here on out.
Caleb Yager, WCTV News.
Piracy is a crime. If you see someone downloading copyrighted material without paying for it, then you should inform the authorities immediately. If you download any copyrighted material from the internet without paying for it, then you should go to jail.
Thank you for tuning in to the Waynesburg University Sports Network halftime show. We hope you enjoyed hearing the different stories. Now it is time for me to throw it down to the second half matchup of Waynesburg and Geneva with Matt Mansfield and Adam Morgante.
Thank you, Riley, and welcome back to the Waynesburg University Sports Network, where we are deadlocked between Waynesburg and Geneva at 7. Waynesburg, they got on the board first in the first quarter with 5 minutes and 2 seconds left on a Justin Flack 24-yard touchdown run. And then Geneva answered late in the second quarter with a Blake Pete 44-yard touchdown run. That was Justin Flack's third rushing touchdown of the season and Pete's second rushing touchdown of the season. Matt, how about you tell us some more of the other stats from the first half?
Oh, yeah, definitely an interesting first half. I think one of the key plays, that blocked field goal by Waynesburg late, gave them a little bit of definitely some energy heading into the locker room to end the half on a big play like that. Geneva's offense was really good, and if you look at their numbers, you wouldn't think that this is a team that only has 7 points, 12 first downs compared to Waynesburg's 5, 159 rushing yards, just 5.7 yards per carry, and they've even got 86 receiving yards, 86 passing yards for this team, which is an exceptionally high total for a team that runs an offense the way they do. So Geneva's offense, the numbers don't add up to what they have on the scoreboard, so it's one of those things where, are they going to carry that over in the second half, or are they going to start clicking a little more and finally punching it in, or is Waynesburg's defense doing enough of bend, don't break type of deal and avoiding letting Geneva into the end zone? We're going to find out here.
Yeah, and on that blocked field goal by Waynesburg, the block was made by Alec Hendel, and then making the fumble recovery was Tom Hanning. So without that block, Geneva could have a 3-point lead right now, so keep that play in mind if this game continues to be close like it was in the first half. As Waynesburg, they will receive the second half kickoff from Geneva. And other Waynesburg sports, Waynesburg softball was in action today as they won the first game with a doubleheader 8-2 against Chatham, so congratulations to them.
Both Waynesburg and Geneva, both fans of both programs. Hasn't been the greatest year for either team. Geneva has a win this season, Waynesburg 0-4, but both programs struggling a lot this season. It's really exciting to see both of them deadlocked in a good game through at least one half. I think it's good for fans on both sides of this to see their teams out here in a very competitive game, as they've been outmatched in most of their matchups this season. And I guess all we can hope for as fans and announcers is a good second half of football. We're going to see momentarily if that wish comes true.
Nordis will do the kicking duties for Geneva. Back deep inside at the 5 for Waynesburg is Howie Metzger and Monroe Moeller to receive the kick. Here's the run-up and here's the boot, and the second half is underway here at John F. Wiley Stadium as Moeller will take it at his own goal line. He runs now up past the 20, and he will be brought down on the play there. Looks like at about the 23-yard line. Derek Seen made the tackle for Geneva. It'll be 1st and 10 for Waynesburg to start the second half. Once again, Waynesburg got its touchdown on 24-yard Justin Flack rushing touchdown. 1st and 10 now, ball at its own 24-yard line. Now the turn and give is to Flack. He has a hole up the middle, and he gets about 6 yards on the play. He'll be brought down at his own 30-yard line. Casey now made the tackle on the play for Geneva. Here's the replay of that. A good first down run there as Flack just took multiple defenders with him, making it a 2nd and 4.
Whenever Flack has had a little bit of room to run, he's been pretty solid. But again, this Waynesburg offensive line has been a little up and down today, and I think that's kind of been the story of them all season is, can they give their guys time to make things happen? And when they do, good things happen. So a good start there on that first down run for Flack.
Rains now, he gives it to Flack. He has a hole! No one near him. He gets into Geneva territory. 25-20, 15-10, 5, touchdown, Waynesburg, Justin Flack. 70 yards to the house gives Waynesburg the 13-7 lead. Flack's second rushing touchdown of the game.
Flack absolutely turns on the jets there. He gets to the outside, and no one was going to catch him there. You can see he had nothing but green grass, and boom, takes off, gone. Flack showing off that speed, and like we said, Adam, the offensive line has given him something to work with, and guess what? The product is phenomenal.
Yeah, Robbie now wants to attempt the extra point for Waynesburg. That kick is up, and that kick is true. So Waynesburg strikes first with a bang early on here in this third quarter as they take back to lead, leading 14-7 on that 70-yard gallop by Justin Flack as he was just untouched on that play. In the second half, after he had that first rushing touchdown, he really didn't have a lot of running room, but Waynesburg, they obviously made an adjustment. He had a good 6-yard run on first down. Then there, bang, 70 yards as he goes there. He shows off that burst in speed as there was just not a Geneva defender in sight to catch him, as he could have kept running if he really wanted to.
Flack now 15 for 131 yards and 2 touchdowns, that 70-yard carry, bumping his average up to 8.7 per carry. And this guy is just on fire to start off that half. A little run, and then he goes 70 for the touchdown. What a phenomenal start. You couldn't have written up a better script for Waynesburg coming out of the locker room in this game.
That's now Flack's 4th touchdown of the regular season. Now Robbie will be on to kick for Geneva, for Waynesburg, excuse me. Back deep for Geneva is Nick Monteleone and Mavero. Robbie now set to kick for Waynesburg. Here's the run up, and he puts his leg through it. A short kick to one of the upmen, taken at about the 22-yard line, as he has a hole as he falls, and we have a fumble on the play. We'll see who comes up with it. As he fumbled at about the 50-yard line, trying to figure out who comes out on top.
Still got a Waynesburg Geneva still battling over it down on the ground right now. We're going to see what this call is going to be. This is huge. Geneva maintaining possession on that one, fortunately for them.
Yeah, recovered on the Geneva. Recovering that fumble was Drew Kramer. Right place, right time for him, as Geneva has excellent field position.
Well, Geneva almost blew that field position. They got to work on holding onto the ball. That could have been a costly fumble, as was their first one earlier in the game. Corkland was the one on the recovery.
And now we have a gain about 3 yards on the play there, on that play Filipiat made on the carry. Caleb Stevens there made the tackle for Waynesburg to make it a 2nd and 7 at the Waynesburg 45-yard line. Now Luptak. As now he waits for signals. He sends Pete back over to where he was. Now Luptek, he's back to throw. He throws a slant over the middle. That's caught for a first down. Inward by Monteleone. He makes a man miss. He's now inside the 35-yard line. Got brought down at the Waynesburg 34-yard line. Great moves there by Monteleone. Here's a replay. It's just a quick, looked like slant route there. A missed tackle by Mahalik. He made a few men miss there too. Bringing up the first down for Geneva as they're looking to answer that last Waynesburg score. Now Lipiak right up the middle. He plows over a defender and gets brought down at the Waynesburg 25-yard line. Brandon Tanko, the 5'9" sophomore for Hyattsville, Maryland, made the tackle for Waynesburg.
If I'm the Waynesburg defense, needs to definitely start to clamp down a little bit here on this drive. But one thing for them is they should feel almost honored the way that they've made Geneva pass the ball tonight. That's something rarely happens. So this Waynesburg defense is putting them to the limit.
Luptek now hit hard, but is able to make the completion on the plays. Geneva's now in the red zone. Peyton Shell made the reception on the play. Vinny Sammartino with the tackle on that play. But that's good enough for a Geneva first down. Ball now at the Waynesburg 16-yard line. Luptek now gives it to Lipia, but he is brought down immediately in the backfield. Alec Hendel made the tackle for loss on that play, the team's leading tackler. Bring up a 2nd and 12, loss and 2 on the play. Geneva, though, still in the Waynesburg red zone at the 19-yard line. Now Luptek, he runs and he keeps it himself. He has a hole inside the 10 now, and he will be a couple yards short of the first down. He was brought down there by Braden Mahalik.
Ball will be put down at the Waynesburg 8.
At the Waynesburg 8-yard line, making it a gain of 11 on the play, making it a 3rd and 1. 3rd and short there for Geneva. Luptek under center once again. Now he's going to keep himself, go up the middle, and he will get the first down. He's brought down at the 4-yard line, 1st and goal for Geneva. Hendel once again in on the tackle, but Geneva 1st and goal, looking to answer that Waynesburg touchdown. We have a timeout called now by Waynesburg head coach Chris Smithley, his first timeout of the second half. Is Waynesburg, they took the lead 56 seconds into the third quarter as Justin Flack had a 70-yard touchdown run for his second touchdown of the game. He had a 24-yard touchdown run in the first quarter, but Geneva has had no issues moving the ball on this drive as they have it 1st and goal at the Waynesburg 4-yard line, looking to tie it up as Geneva got its touchdown on a Blake Pete 44-yard rushing touchdown.
Little score update from around the PAC. Westminster is up 14-10 on W&J right now, so Westminster, that PAC title game, is a close one if you guys wanted to tune into that one as well. Very close game for a championship on the line.
Yeah, in this game, crossover game between last place team in the North Division, Geneva, and last place team in South Division, Waynesburg. Now 1st and goal for Geneva at the 4-yard line. Leptak under center. Now he's going to keep it himself. He has a hole, and he will find the end zone as he's able to waltz in for the easy 4-yard rushing touchdown, as Geneva is now 1 point away from tying up this ball game. Leptak, his 4th rushing touchdown of this season.
He is just so fun to watch, especially tonight as a passer, something we didn't know as much about, but he's so fun to watch as a runner, just so elusive and so quick. Just one of the most exciting players in the PAC, and even a short play like that, just showing off his elusiveness and his ability to find a hole and get in.
Nordis makes the extra point to tie up this game at 14, and we were pretty much where we were to start the second half as the teams are tied at 7. Now they're tied at 14 as Geneva with a quick answer, and we will come back here on the Waynesburg University Sports Network. Waynesburg Geneva tied on 14 thanks to that Amos Leptak 4-yard rushing touchdown. The quarterback, the leading rusher in the PAC, adds to his total as Geneva and Waynesburg are tied at 14. Nordis will do the kicking duties to Moeller and Metzger deep inside their own 5-yard line for the Yellow Jackets. Here's a kick, another long kick. Moeller will get it in his own end zone, and he will take it out as he gets past the 20 and really doesn't get much further than that as he was tackled at the 22-yard line. That's where Waynesburg will take over on offense.
With a hot start to this first half, that Flack touchdown run, Waynesburg was not hoping that second possession that they have in this half was going to have to be a response to what Geneva's offense just did, but it's exactly what they're going to have to do is can they keep this up? Can they keep pace with what Geneva's offense looks like it's capable of doing based on that first drive? We're going to find out here.
Yeah, once again, last drive ended in a Justin Flack 70-yard rushing touchdown. Reigns now. He takes the snap. He hands off to Flack. He goes up the middle, but he is greeted immediately there on the play.
Looks like a little extracurricular back there briefly before both guys head to their side, but head back to their respective huddles.
No gain on play. Gary Weaver made the tackle for Geneva, bring up a 2nd and 10 for the Yellow Jackets. Waynesburg coming into this game 0-4. Geneva 1-3 coming into this game. The bottom teams in the North and the South Division for this PAC crossover game. Raines, a junior transfer quarterback from Townsend, settles in. He takes the snap. He gives it to Flack. Once again, he has another hole. As he's up past midfield, and he's going to be dragged from behind at the Geneva 41-yard line by O'Neal Cotton, making that touchdown-saving tackle. As great open field tackle by him, but another great hole from Flack up the middle, and there it is, using that speed. But Cotton, as Flack, he looked back, and you wonder if he didn't look back at Cotton that he would have maybe had more momentum and more speed, but still, first down for Waynesburg at the Geneva 41-yard line.
Geneva's defense needs to realize, you'd think after the 70-yard touchdown you'd learn a little bit of a lesson, but still leaving that gap right in the middle of the line is just not the strategy that you're going to stop Flack with.
Opening out flat is Johnson, as he's brought down at the Geneva 30-yard line for the first down. Cotton makes the tackle on the play, as really no one was out there in that flat guarding Johnson, as there's that little swing pass. That's Johnson's second reception on the evening, as he had another first down reception.
It feels like Johnson's been more involved than just 2 catches as well, though. It feels like he's been involved a lot more, but for him to only have 2 receptions, it just feels like, from the way we've announced his name tonight, we've called him a lot more than those 2 catches.
They'll mark it at the Geneva 31-yard line. Raines, he settles in, he takes the snap, he turns, he gives to Flack, and he's going to get nowhere there on the play. Really no gain. Dalton Roseman made the stop for Geneva, the 6'1 freshman from Malbourne, Florida. Flack has been very busy this evening, the 5'7 sophomore from Derry, Pennsylvania, as he has 2 rushing touchdowns for Waynesburg, 24-yard rushing touchdowns in the first quarter, and a 70-yard rushing touchdown that last drive here in their third quarter. 2nd and 10, though. Waynesburg at the Geneva 31-yard line. Raines, he fakes it, he looks to throw, he throws deep towards the end zone, and that is overthrown. Howie Metzger, the senior from Connellsville, Pennsylvania, the intended receiver. James Clark provided tight coverage on that play, the 5'10 freshman from Wakefield High School, as took a shot there. Looked like Metzger had a step, but the ball was just thrown outside of the reach of Metzger, bringing up a 3rd and long.
Metzger looked like he was cutting a little bit more in the middle, and the ball was just thrown more towards the sideline, so it just seems like maybe a miscommunication on their part.
First 3rd down of the second half for Waynesburg. Now Raines. He gives it to Flack up the middle, and he's not going to be anywhere close towards that first down, as Roseman was able to make the tackle to bring up 4th down on the play, as Flack got inside the 30-yard line. Ball will be marked at the Geneva 27-yard, bringing up a 4th and 6, and the Waynesburg offense will stay out on the field. As before that, Waynesburg was 2 of 6 on 3rd downs in this game, and they're 0 for 1 so far on 4th downs tonight. We're waiting for the play call, though, from the sideline. Play clock, though, marching down to 10. Trying to figure some things out now. Raines takes the snap, fakes it. He throws it over the middle, and that is complete. Or actually, no, incomplete, dropped. Turnover on downs for Waynesburg. Brennan.
That was a bullet by Raines, too. He just kind of squeezed that one in there, and Brennan, just looked like, you can see right here, Raines steps up in the pocket, fires that one away, and Brennan just couldn't hold on to it, but it looked like he tossed that one pretty hard, so interesting to see what happened there.
Yeah.
Then you can also see a little bit of a bat down. Can't quite tell.
Derek Sneed made the bat down, and it
looked
like he was
definitely got his hand in there as well.
It was right between the 2 and the 1 of Brennan, but last second, Sneed came in there and got the hand in the cookie jar to force that incompletion now. Geneva takes over at its own 27 now. The pitch to Mavero. He's up past the 30. Or that's actually Pete, my bad, as he has the first touchdown for Geneva. Jesse Kane made the tackle, bringing up a 2nd down.
Lucas Donley looked like he was about to blow that play up, but by the time that he had his hands on the ball carrier, Luptak had flipped it to another guy. It's just one of those things that this team does so well, is you don't know who has the ball a lot of the time, and definitely makes it hard on these defenses.
Geneva has it at its own 32-yard line, 2nd and 5. Luptak now. He tosses it once again. That is to Pete, and he has a hole. He makes the man miss. He has nothing but green grass cuts in the middle. 25, and he's brought down inside the Waynesburg 25-yard line by Luke Mangus. Long run by Pete there as he was just zigging and zagging across the field. Here's a replay of that. As Pete, he started towards the near sideline. He was able to cut. And now here's Lippiat right up the middle. He corkscrews to about the 16-yard line of Waynesburg.
The Geneva offense feels like it's rolling. It feels like they ended that half. They got the engine started, and it seems like they've got their foot on the gas right now.
That's at the 14-yard line, or 16-yard line, second down and short for Geneva. Now Luptek, he rolls, and he will keep it himself, and he will have enough for the first down. Mihalik made the tackle for Waynesburg, but Geneva once again knocking on the door to take its first lead of the game as they will hurry. Ball at the Waynesburg 14-yard line. Now Lippiat up the middle. He gets inside the 10, and he'll be brought down at the 9-yard line by Jesse Kane, the sophomore, also a communication student, as Lippiat is slow to get up.
Jesse Kane, one of our finest cameramen whenever we do these WUSN productions for basketball. Jesse Kane always finds a way to get some of the most phenomenal shots, and he also sadly can't work these football games, but he makes his impact felt on the field, not the sideline.
Yeah, there's Jesse there from his position, 2nd and 6 at the Waynesburg 9. Luptek now, he keeps it and he pitches to Pete. He gets tackled at about the 5, but there is some laundry on the field. Kane once again on the tackle, but we'll see what the official Harris calls. As the pitch once again, the Pete that has worked so well for this drive, as they will be holding on Geneva. They'll bring up a 10-yard penalty, so instead of a 2nd and 6 from the 9, it'll be a 2nd and 16 from the Waynesburg 19-yard line. That holding penalty was on Nick Monteleone.
Geneva seems like they've had a great game thus far offensively, but it seems like they have these little errors, a few penalties that have been costly, the turnover earlier. Just seems like they're not playing their cleanest game, and they're letting Waynesburg stay in this one.
2nd and 16 for the Golden Tornado, or 2nd and 12, excuse me, at the 14-yard line. Now here's a toss to Mavero. He has room. He is able to go. What do they call? As he will be called down at the 1-yard line.
That's about as close as you can get without punching it in. As you can see here, we've got the replay up. You know, he goes into motion. You get the pitch, and he's going. He's got some room, and right about here, it looks like he just can't quite get it in. He's brought down right before. At least that's what the ref saw. And again, can't get much closer with that without punching it in.
That came back. There was a holding call on wide receiver Peyton Shell, negating that big run that would put Geneva 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. So now the ball's at the Waynesburg 15-yard line. 2nd and long. Luptek now back to throw. He throws down the middle, and that is caught for the touchdown. That is Peyton Shell, his first touchdown reception of the season, and Geneva takes the lead 20-14. Just a simple drop back there by Luptek. Great timing play on the slant route as Shell's able to beat his man and score the touchdown. That is only Luptek's 2nd passing touchdown of the season.
Luptek didn't really have that ball in his hands for long. He played hot potato with it. He got it and tossed it. And quick strike for this Geneva offense, and they're back on top.
14-yard strike from Luptek to Shell. As we have a flag on the play. Waiting for the call from our head official. Holding on Waynesburg. That penalty will be declined, and the extra point is good.
Caleb Stevens on the hold there.
As after Waynesburg took the 14-7 lead in early on in the third quarter on that 70-yard Justin Flack run, Geneva was able to answer on a Luptek 3-yard rushing touchdown, and then that drive there, a 14-yard touchdown reception from Luptek to Shell, as you see that replay there on your screen. As Shell early on in the game had a big reception inside Waynesburg territory.
Luptek has had himself quite the day through the air, 8 of 12. 66% of his passes have been completed, 121 yards along with a touchdown. And on the ground, 14 carries, 63 yards, 4.5 yards per carry, and he also has a rushing touchdown. So Luptek is just doing it through the air, on his feet, everything. He has been a stud for this Geneva offense.
Moeller and Metzger back deep at their own 5-yard line for Waynesburg. Nordis will go back, and will get ready to boot this ball away for Geneva. As here's the run-up. Here's the kick. A little bit of a shorter kick from what we've seen as Moeller gets it at his own 10. He runs towards the middle, and he gets up past the 25-yard line, and he'll be brought down at the Waynesburg 27-yard line. That's where Waynesburg will take over. Making the tackle on the play for Geneva is Billy Perry. As we have looked like a sideline warning on the Geneva sideline. Waynesburg will take over. 4:19 left here in the third quarter. Geneva just took the lead on that Peyton Shell 14-yard touchdown reception. Waynesburg takes the field once again. Last time they weren't able to convert on a 4th down inside Geneva territory. Now Raines, he hands it off to Flack as he has a little bit of a hole as he gets brought down at the Geneva 29-yard line. Making the tackle is Gary Weaver. It looked like he held on to him a little too long as Waynesburg did not like that at all. So a little extracurricular activities going on there, bringing up 2nd down. There's the run there by Flack. As, it looked like multiple Geneva defenders just held on for too long. It was only a gain of 1 on the play. 2nd and 9 for Waynesburg.
Flack got his hands on Weaver. He was able to pull Weaver down with him, if you noticed that in the replay. He grabbed the jersey and brought him down. He didn't want to go down alone.
Now the give is to Flack once again, and he will be pushed out of bounds at his own 35-yard line. Dakota Allen made the tackle, bring up a gain of 5. And that'll be 3rd and 2 for this Waynesburg offense. Actually, a 3rd and 1 at the 36. That was 1 yard off. Big 3rd down here for Waynesburg as they find themselves trailing for the first time in this game. Flack has really been the main workhorse in this half with a 70-yard rushing touchdown. They give us the Flack once again, and he will have just enough for the first down as he's got about 1 more yard than he needed to. Dakota Allen, once again, the leading tackler in the PAC, made the tackle for Geneva. But that moves the chains as now the ball's at the Waynesburg 39-yard line. 21-14, Geneva leads Waynesburg, 2:32 remaining here in the third quarter. Waynesburg looking to answer that last touchdown by Geneva, a 14-yard touchdown reception from Luptek to Peyton Shell. Now Raines play action, he looks to throw, he has a screen pass wide open, that is Howell, up way into Geneva real estate, brought down at about the Geneva 35-yard line. Great play there. Dakota Allen with the tackle. There's the replay. Is great screen pass. Howell was just wide open and had a lot of good blocking. Looked like Eric McDowell down the field, blocking on that play. 1st and 10 for Waynesburg at the Geneva 35-yard line.
That tackle got Dakota Allen into double digits. That was 7 solo tackles, 3 assists, so he's at 10 on the night.
Waynesburg here threatening in the 3rd quarter, down by 7. Now Rains, he gives to Flack as he runs up the middle, gets up past the 35, and he won't get much more room after that. It looks like he will be brought down at the 37-yard line. Dakota Allen, we've been calling his name this entire drive, but he is in on that tackle once again.
It might be easier just to assume that if a tackle's made, it's Dakota Allen at this point. He's been all over the place on this one.
Seems like it, yeah. Gain of 3, though, for Flack. Brings the ball 2nd and 7 at the Geneva 32-yard line. Flack with a great day rushing. His 23 attempts for over 186 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, a little misdirection there, but Flack's able to make a man miss and at least get back to the line of scrimmage. And we have a flag, some extracurricular activities there. Dalton Roseman made the tackle.
We'll see, Gary Weaver went down hard on that play. Gary Weaver, if you remember earlier in this drive, was brought down on that play where they a few guys held on to Justin Flack a little too long. Flack brought down Weaver. So it seems like Weaver's been in quite a few scuffles throughout this ball game.
Unsportsmanlike conduct penalty there on Waynesburg's TJ Johnson. And now we'll move the ball 15-yard penalty. Big blow there by Waynesburg as now they'll have it at the Geneva 49-yard line, bringing up a 2nd and long with 48 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. 2nd and 14.
You're a team going for your first win of the season. You just can't do silly things like this. You know, I get that emotions run high in this game, but one of those things, you know, you're down in this game, you're trying to pick up that first win. You just got to play it safe. Can't cost your offense yards, especially on a drive like this that's so vital.
Rains now back to throw. He steps up. He's being pressured and he is hit as that won't go down as a sack as he was able to get maybe 1 yard on the play though. Great pressure though by the Geneva defense there. Levi Railing and Dalton Roseman were in on that play on the pressure as Rains was able to get at least 1 yard on the play. Make it a 3rd and 13 at the Geneva 48-yard line as Waynesburg will let the clock tick to 0 as we will now go to the 4th quarter with Geneva leading Waynesburg 21-14 here on the Waynesburg University Sports Network.
We're going to fade up to camera 3 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, take it. Welcome back to the Waynesburg University Sports Network. Matt Mansfield, Adam Morgante here on the call of this close PAC matchup. The Geneva Golden Tornadoes leading 21-14. You can see Coach Chris Smithley in the huddle with his guys trying to pick up that first win of the season. The crowd into this ball game. First close game of the season, truly, for this Waynesburg team. It's been a struggle, and there's some light at the end of the tunnel that is the 2021 spring football season. As you can see, Waynesburg getting set for a 3rd and long after a penalty followed by, it wasn't a sack, but it was definitely a bad play for this Waynesburg offense. Excuse me, for 4th down and getting ready for this punt, my bad there. But you can see Waynesburg needs a stop on this drive if they're going to do anything against this Geneva offense that has been moving the ball thus far in the 3rd quarter and the 2nd half in general. The punt is going to be down about the 19-yard line. Looks like it's going to be down right around the 19. And Geneva is going to have a lot of ground to make up if they're going to get into the end zone, but they have an opportunity here to maybe break open this ball game.
interesting stat here, Matt. Coming into this game, Amos Luptek, who had a passing touchdown to Peyton Shell on that last drive, he's only had 9 pass attempts going into this game, but so far in this game for Luptek, he's 8 of 12 for 121 yards.
Yeah, he can definitely throw the ball, and I don't think a lot of people can't really study too much film on the guy. As you can see, first play of the fourth quarter, and that one's to Pete. Pete running up the sideline. He's going to be brought down right around the first down marker. Looks like he probably picked that one up. Hendel was able to make the stop. You can see the pitch to Pete. Pete breaking down the sideline as he has liked doing so far in this ball game. They're going to give it, still mark it a little bit short, but it's going to set up a second and short situation for the Geneva offense. Luptek under center. Got a few guys in the backfield as per usual. Luptek the handoff, and taking that one is Lipiotti, and he's going to pick up the first down.
Lipiot on the carry.
Lipiot was able to pick up that first down, and Tanko was able to bring him down, but the chains are moving. 21-14, quite the ball game on this Friday night. The snap and the handoff. Lipiot is going to be stuffed at the line of scrimmage. You can see 4 Waynesburg jerseys just hanging on to him, and not much ground for him to make up. Hendel is going to be given credit for the stop, most likely. 14-10 is the score of the PAC championship game, with Westminster on top of W&J. About 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Little update for you guys there. But we've got a thriller right here at John F. Wiley Stadium as we get set for 2nd and 10. Geneva has possession. Luptek has the snap. He's going to roll out. He's in the backfield. He gets around a defender. He's at about the 30-yard line, brought down right around the 35-yard line. And Luptek, you can see back here, as we have the replay up on the screen, Luptek is very elusive. He's one of those guys that's really hard to bring down, as we've seen quite a few times today. You see, no one can get a hold of him, and he's finally able to be brought down from behind right around the 35-yard line, setting up a 3rd and short for Geneva. Luptek under center again. Man in motion. He takes the snap. He hands it off to Lipiat, and he's going to be fighting for every yard he can. Not quite sure if he picked that one up. It's going to be pretty close. Lipiot was fighting. He had a Waynesburg defender all over him, but would not go down. Looks like the chain crew is going to move it, and that's going to be a first down.
Yeah, first down there by Geneva Lipiotti. It was just a battle for who wanted it more to get the first down between Hendel and Lipiotti that time won that battle for the first down.
Lipiotti, the 5'10 freshman, 220 pounds. Pretty big guy, as you can see. Here is Pete has the ball right now, and he's going to be able to pick up about 11 or 12 yards on that one, and the chains are once again moving for the Geneva offense. Excuse me. Oh, they're going to mark him a little short on that one. Excuse me. So it's going to be 2nd and 1. I thought he picked up that first down. My bad here. Once again, Geneva snapping this ball. It's Lipiotti, and he's going to pick up the first down. Dives to pick up another yard. And the chains once again moving. And Tanku was on the stop there. And Geneva moving the ball pretty well throughout this second half. It just feels like every time they've had this ball, they've really figured out what to do with it. That run game has really picked up. And Waynesburg's defense, those guys down in the trenches, it's a battle, and it seems like Geneva is starting to tire these fellas out just a little bit, but still have a long way to go before they get in the end zone, as they're only at the Waynesburg 48-yard line. So they're still a ways away as Luptek is getting ready to take the snap, but looks like we're going to have a timeout right here.
Yeah, timeout called by Geneva's Gina DeMarco. The first timeout of the second half for Geneva. Once again, he's in his 28th season for Geneva at the helm at head coach. He's the all-time winningest head coach in Geneva football history. And yeah, Matt, you mentioned for how successful Geneva has been on offense in the first half. They were able to move the ball in the Waynesburg territory, but they were 0 for 3 on 4th downs. That was the difference, but Geneva has not got themselves in that territory at all, as they've been able to convert all of their 3rd downs that they've had First 2 drives have been scoring drives on a Luptak 4-yard rushing touchdown and a Luptak passing touchdown to Peyton Shell from 14 yards out. And Geneva now is moving the ball pretty easily right now as they are now in Waynesburg territory, first down.
They are indeed, Adam, here at the 48-yard line. As you can see, Luptak under center. He's going to take the snap. He's going to try and run it himself. Luptak up the middle. He's going to pick up a couple there. Going to be brought down right around the 45, 46-yard line. They're going to mark this one at about the 46-yard line. And Tanko on the tackle there. That was his 14th tackle of the night as he is leading all defenders in tackles after that one. Hendel in second in tackles on the game at 13. Second down, 6 yards to go. Luptak sends a man in motion. He's going to pitch it to Pete. Pete gets to the outside. Pete has some room. He's at the 40, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds right there. He goes all the way into the trees over there on the sideline, as you can see. Ran into the chain marker as well as some trees, but and Tanku on the push out again. This guy's been all over the place, but as you can see, another thing that's been working for this team, we talked about how Geneva's been moving the ball so efficiently. Pete has been one of those guys that you got to give him a lot of credit for what he's doing. He's been able to get to the outside, using his speed to get around his defenders and making plays happen as they picked up that first down. Luptak, he's going to keep it himself. Luptak brought down in the backfield behind the line of scrimmage. Great play there. Alec Hendel gets behind the line and blows that play up. You can see right here, Hendel just finds his way through, and boom, Luptak goes down. Loss of yards there. 2nd and 13 set up here. 10 minutes to go in the ball game. Waynesburg needed a play like that on defense.
Yeah, and Hendel, he made the wrong read. He was tackling Lipiotti, but he was able to use his athleticism to be able to trip up Luptak to make the tackle for loss.
Doesn't matter if you made the wrong read as long as you made the right play. As you can see here, Luptak has the ball and he's moving through a herd of Waynesburg defenders again. He got into quite the pile up there. 9:30 to go in this ball game, 21-14. Waynesburg trailing, and it's a key third down situation for this Geneva offense. Waynesburg defense would absolutely love to get a stop on this one. Third down, 7 yards to go. So this is no easy task for Geneva's offense, as it's pretty much a 3rd and long here. Luptak went over the sideline to get his play. We haven't really seen the passing game operate too much on this drive at all. So we're going to see what Geneva's going to try and bring to the table on this one. Luptak under center, sends Pete in motion. Luptak bobbles the snap. He's going to go down. This play's going to be blown up again. Waynesburg's defense takes advantage as he was unable to hold on to that snap. Hannock was able to get into the backfield and take down Luptak, but you saw that. He just bobbled that. His hands, he just couldn't hold on to it. You see right here on your screens, folks. He sends Pete in motion. The ball gets snapped, and it just bounces off his hands like they were stones, and he has a little bit of trouble recovering, but ultimately doesn't turn it over. Still, not an ideal situation to be in, as it looks like they're getting ready to punt this one away.
Yeah, unfortunate play there for Geneva. Waynesburg comes up with a big stop, their first stop on defense of the second half.
Before the punt can be underway, gonna have a little stoppage here. And there was a timeout. Looks like Waynesburg took the timeout. And Geneva was getting ready to punt that one away, so we're going to see what happens here, what's up with Waynesburg on the sidelines here, what they have planned. But Adam, huge stop on third down. Waynesburg trailing by, it's a one-possession game. Getting the ball back is key, although this team, outside of that 70-yard touchdown run, Justin Flack had one other pretty impressive run, but besides that, this offense hasn't been in rhythm very much this second half.
Yeah, and they had another successful drive after that flag touchdown on a big gain screen pass to Ben Howe, where he got to the Geneva 35-yard line, but Waynesburg wasn't able to convert on a 4th down on that drive. And Geneva now will punt to hopefully maybe pin Waynesburg deep. Pete with 11 carries for 136 yards in 1 touchdown. So what a night that Pete is having for this Geneva rushing offense.
Yeah, he's the leading rusher for the Geneva team tonight. And that one is punted away, and it's going to go down right around the 10, and it's bouncing towards the 5-yard line, and it's going past there. And Waynesburg is going to have their work cut out for them on this upcoming drive. Great punch there for Geneva, and Waynesburg is going to have to go all the way upfield. They're going to have to march down if they're going to be able to tie this ball game up. 8:05, they've got time to do it, but this is not an easy ask for any offense. Waynesburg getting ready to march out on here, getting ready for what's going to be arguably the biggest drive of their season, a fourth quarter drive in a game that they're very competitive in. Waynesburg just trying to get themselves in a little bit better field position, not going to risk the safety. They're trying to punch it up the middle, but Geneva was prepared for that play. Looks like Raines might have kept that one himself. Tyler Raines, 5 of 11 on the day, only completing 45% of his passes, but he's got 83 yards so far, so not a bad day all in all for Tyler Raines. Raines, 5 carries, single-digit yardage still at about 8 yards, so not the best day on the ground for him.
Noah Freeman made the tackle on the play for Geneva, the 6-foot senior from Sarver, PA, and he went to Freeport.
Raines takes the snap. He drops back. Raines is going to fire this one, and that one's caught. And the first down is going to be picked up and then some. That pass went to TJ Johnston. You can see Raines draws back in his own end zone, risky, but the offensive line held steady for them. And Johnston had himself wide open. There's 3 defenders in front of him, but they weren't too close. And he was brought down on that play by Cotton. O'Neal Cotton, the sophomore, was able to take him down, but Johnston, good route, just straight up the middle, picks up the first down, moving the chains. That's exactly what Waynesburg needs here with about 6:50 to go in the ball game.
And breathing room too. Johnson, that 3rd reception for 45 yards now on the evening.
And here's the handoff to Flack. Flack bounces out to the outside. He's moving up. He's going to be brought down at around the 30-yard line. Flack on the carry there. Allen was able to bring him down, Dakota Allen. Mr. Everywhere tonight is Dakota Allen. Justin Flack gets that one. 2nd and 1 now for this Waynesburg offense. 6.5 minutes to go. As you can see, Raines over there figuring out the signals from the coaching staff. You can see Mason Schranker, the other quarterback on the team, sending out some signals as well. Raines hands it off. Here's Flack up the middle. Flack brought down, and he has nowhere to go on that one, as that was Rawling who brings him down and sets up 3rd down and 2. So Waynesburg's offense, a shorter conversion. They've dealt with a lot longer tonight. They've dealt with tougher tonight, but we're going to see this is the biggest one they've had all day. You can see the snap, and there's a flag on the play. Raines wasn't able to hold on to that one. He's going to be brought down way in the backfield. He's going to be brought down around the 10. There is a flag on the play, though. You saw that one got thrown pretty early. And another one, as there's a few players in a little bit of a mix-up between Geneva and Waynesburg.
Yeah, well, the first flag, Geneva jumped off sides, and the second flag was kind of extracurricular activities, as the officials now are sorting out what that second penalty will be.
Yeah, overall, you can see the snap doesn't really get into Raines' hands too much, and then he is just pushed back all the way to about the 10-yard line. As you can see, just a lot of extracurriculars. And one thing we've noticed about this second half is there's been a lot of guys getting in each other's faces. It's gotten a lot more physical. These close ball games definitely sometimes call for that. And that's going to be a first down for Waynesburg. There was a penalty on that one. Well, excuse me, spoke too soon.
So it's still first down, as that unsportsmanlike conduct occurred after the play. So yes, Waynesburg has the first down, but they will be backed up 15 yards.
Not the worst thing in the world for them to get the first down, but to lose that yardage, certainly not ideal for this Waynesburg team. And again, seems like these penalties that cost them yards, this could be costly on the scoreboard if they can't manage to get that yardage back. You see, we're coming down to the wire with this one, Adam. 5:44 to go in this football game. It's close, and Waynesburg definitely needs to do something on this drive. See another flag down on the field. You can see the crowd is starting to get a little loud. They're starting to get into this one. It's definitely feels like football season for sure. Whenever you've got the crowd, the physicality, everything, this feels like football tonight. Waynesburg getting ready. First down, 5.5 minutes, trailing by 7. Raines takes the snap. He's going to hand this one off to Flack. Flack trying to find somewhere to go. He goes up the middle. Doesn't have much room to go. He's brought down relatively quickly.
Sneed made the tackle there for Geneva.
So second down, 10 yards to go. Once again, Flack didn't have anywhere to go. Flack is closing in on the 200-yard mark, though. He's at 195 rushing yards on the game, so a big game for him regardless of what happened on that last play. Once again, the snap, handed off to Flack. Flack getting through his defenders. He goes straight up the middle. Flack is going to be brought down right about the 25-yard line. Looks like Sneed was able to get in on the stop. That's going to set up a third down situation, another key 3rd down and 3, and Flack is going to cross that 200-yard threshold, but he's still in that territory where you lose a couple yards on a carry, you go back into the 190, so better for Flack if he just can pick up the first down if they so choose to give it to him. Raines looks to the sideline, ready to have the snap, but looking back to the sideline, he has Flack in his sidecar. 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. All eyes on Coach Smithley. 5 seconds on the play clock. They better snap this one. And Raines takes the snap. Looked like he was starting to run, but there's a flag on the play, and we're looking at like maybe a false start.
Yeah, full start on that as Waynesburg, they were just confused at what player they're going to run. It seemed like they were taking all the time in the world, and that just kind of caused that little snafu that Waynesburg had.
So Waynesburg, once again, just these penalties have been costing them yards, costing them opportunities here late in the ball game especially. You can see Howie Metzger on your screen, the senior playing in his last football game for Waynesburg University, the Yellow Jackets. Been a key part of this Waynesburg offense. You've got a 3rd down and 8 to go. Raines takes the snap. Raines fires it away, and it looks like that first down is good. They convert it. Howie Metzger on the catch, kept those toes on the sideline, and the chains are moving once again. Waynesburg is not out of this one yet. 3.5 minutes to go. You see Raines fires it to Metzger. Metzger pulls that one in, and he just keeps the feet in, extends the arms just to make sure, just for safe measure, and they pick up that first down and then some. Raines takes the snap. He's going to hand this one off. Flack runs it up, and he's going to be brought down. You can see Dakota Allen was in the backfield pretty quickly after the ball was snapped, as he always is. Been a thorn in the side of this Waynesburg offense, has Dakota Allen. So we got a 2nd down, 9 yards to go. Under 3 minutes left in the ballgame. Waynesburg trying to tie this one up, 21-14. They're just in the thick of things. The closest game they've had all season by a wide margin. Once again, Raines has the ball. He's going to fire this one downfield. That one is going to be incomplete. Raines tried to get that one to Tavarich, but 2 Geneva defenders were all over him there. As you can see, James Clark was the man guarding Tavarich and unable to haul that one in. And it looks like Waynesburg's going to have a 3rd down and 9. So 3rd and 9, Waynesburg needs to convert this one if they're going to have a chance, or else they're going to set themselves up for a 4th and long. But ideally, this Waynesburg team can convert it here, which haven't been too bad on 3rd downs thus far. 4 for 9. They started the game a lot hotter, and they've since cooled down on these 3rd down conversions. 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left, and Raines takes the snap. Raines hands that one off. Flack trying to pick up every yard he can, but that one's going to be stopped well short of the 1st down marker.
As pushing and shoving after the play, looked like Justin Flack was getting into it with a Geneva player.
Right here, you can see Flack was stuffed from the start of that play. just nowhere to go, truly. And you can see the play just, see right there. Flack didn't really have anywhere to go. So this is it. 4th down. This is a huge play. This Waynesburg season, can they get a win? Can they tie this one up? It's all going to come down to this one. Chris Smithley, a lot on the line tonight for this Waynesburg team. Rains drops back. Rains fires it downfield. It's picked off. Geneva takes this one. And that's it. Waynesburg. Dakota Allen was able to read Rains and picks him off, and less than 2 minutes to go. Waynesburg looks like they're going to finish this season winless. Once again, Dakota Allen comes up when he's needed. You can see Rains fires this one. Looks like he was looking for Brennan, but Dakota Allen was standing right in front of him. Just got to throw that one higher if you're going to get that to Brennan, and that's a tough pill to swallow for this Waynesburg offense, for this Waynesburg team, for it to end that way most likely, as Geneva trots that triple option back out.
Yeah, and that's Rain's 7th interception on the season, and Dakota Allen has been a force for the Geneva defense. We've called his name so much in the second half with all the tackles he's making, but he came up there with his 2nd interception of the season.
Luptak takes a knee, 1:40 to go, and here's the interception once more. And again, Dakota Allen was standing right there. You had 3 Geneva jerseys surrounding Brennan, but unable to get that one, and they're going to have a lot to think about in the offseason with that one, as there's a timeout called. But Geneva, great play. This offense really picked it up in the second half, and it just seems like the wheels fell off for Waynesburg as we came down the stretch, the home stretch, that 4th quarter offensively. A lot of things that were working for them early didn't, and that pick was essentially a nail in the coffin for the Waynesburg season.
An interesting thing, Matt, about that last drive for Waynesburg is they started with 8 minutes and 5 seconds left on the clock in the 4th quarter, and Geneva took over inside 2 minutes, so Waynesburg really was in no hurry at all.
Yeah, Waynesburg really chewed up the clock on that one, but you can see Sean Willard, the devastating loss for this team. It's been a tough year all around for Waynesburg, and to be in this game and unable to pull through in what was very much so their closest game of the season. They had leads, they gave themselves plenty of opportunities, and just unable to do it. Luptak took another knee there, gave himself a little extra time before going down there. You can see Dakota Allen, the pick that clinched it for Geneva. Geneva going to wrap up, going to end up getting themselves to 2-3, so a solid season for this Geneva team. They're obviously can't finish 500 with the odd number of games, but they're close at 2-3. A little update from around the PAC right now as well. The PAC championship game is going on. W&J and Westminster. 12 minutes to go. Westminster up 20-17, so they currently have possession, but a very close PAC championship game. Once again, Luptak takes the knee, and once again, we're going to show you that interception. As you can see right here, Dakota Allen takes it back, brought down, and Rains fired that one. Just not enough to get to Brennan. Clock ticking down here on Waynesburg's season and this 2019 season. 2021, excuse me. I'm losing track of my years here.
Yeah, as Geneva's just going to let this clock tick, as they will have to snap the ball one more time. Play clock at 10, game clock at about 15 seconds. But yeah, that interception's range throw pretty much threw it right to Allen as he was looking for Brennan, as Geneva will take the delay of game. But Allen, he was just lurking in his zone in the middle of the field and just Range just threw it right to him.
You can see 7 seconds left, excuse me, so pretty much game in the wraps here. But yeah, like you mentioned, Adam, Dakota Allen, he had himself one heck of a day. Luptak also just had quite the day as well. But you can see Waynesburg getting ready, wrapping up this season. It was a close game, and I mean, for the way the first 4 games of Waynesburg's season went, to end the season on this game is definitely exciting because you got yourself a competitive game. You're able to keep yourself competitive and feel what it's like to be in a game where a drive in the 4th quarter matters and you have a chance to pull through. But at the same time, if you get yourself here, you just want to cross the finish line. You want to be in that close game. You want to be able to pull through. And unfortunately, unable to do that was the Waynesburg team tonight.
Yeah, and Waynesburg's offense was able to improve throughout this season. As the first 2 games, they were shut out against W&J and shut out against Carnegie Mellon. They only put up 7 points against Bethany. They put up 26, though, against St. Vincent. Tyler Raines had a very good game that game, throwing for 2 touchdown passes in a close defensive battle here as Waynesburg put up 14 points, but Geneva just made the better plays tonight compared to Waynesburg.
Yeah, you can see both teams getting set, getting out there, finally getting this last snap underway. Feels like the end of a basketball game, honestly, with this one. Basketball games, whenever you get to the point where everyone's fouling, but looks like the clock is done on the scoreboard. There they go. They put it back, but still figuring out what time is left, Adam.
Yeah, they added 3 seconds, 9 seconds to the play clock, and now we have a whistle timeout by Geneva. Their last timeout of the game.
Just want to soak it all in. Want to soak in that second win of the season. Don't want it to end
quite
yet. As both teams head to the sidelines to talk over what to do in the final 9.3 seconds, which I'm guessing won't be a ton, but yeah, like I said, Adam, it feels a little bit like the end of a basketball game. We've had quite a few of these games this past season where, you get close enough that you can foul, but not close enough to pull through, and it feels like Waynesburg, just 7 points back. What can you do differently?
Yeah, and going back last year, Geneva defeated Waynesburg in Beaver Falls 27-7. The last time these two teams played at John F. Wiley Stadium, it was a defensive battle as Waynesburg won that game 10-7. But barring anything crazy happening in these final 9 seconds, looks like Geneva is safe to pick up its second consecutive victory over Waynesburg.
We'll see, unless there's a miracle punt return, but Waynesburg switching out units rather quickly. Getting ready to snap this ball is Geneva. A lot of confusion going on towards the end of this ball game. And there's the snap. The punt is up. And here we go. Metzger is going to try and return that one. He's going to be brought down. 2.7 seconds left, though, so Waynesburg has one last chance, one Hail Mary. One Hail Mary opportunity for the Waynesburg offense to try and get this one.
Doesn't seem like it would be too far for a heave to the end zone, Matt.
Yeah,
You'd think you'd see a bunch of laterals and anything crazy to happen here.
Going to be interesting to see how Waynesburg's going to approach this one for sure, but well, if I'm a senior on this Waynesburg team on senior night, what a way to go out would be to score this touchdown here. We'll see as Raines dropping back. Raines trying to make time. He's going to fire this one. And incomplete. Geneva seals the deal. 21-14. Geneva is going to take home a victory at John F. Wiley Stadium. We're going to send this one to a quick break, and we'll be back to wrap up everything that happened here quickly before we have the replay of Raines' incompletion to end this ball game. And we're going to send this one to a quick break. We'll be right back here on the Waynesburg University Sports Network.
It's a Saturday night. You know what that means. Time to party. Sam is having a good time, watching sports, drinking beer, playing Pong. Not a care in the world for Sam. Nobody at the party stops Sam. They let him walk out the door with his keys, even though he was stumbling, having a hard time to stand up. What happened less than 10 minutes later would change Sam's life forever.
Welcome back to the Waynesburg University Sports Network. Matt Mansfield, Adam Morgante here at John F. Wiley Stadium to wrap up what was a close game for the Waynesburg University Yellow Jackets, 21-14 loss. Adam, quick scoring recap here for what happened. How did we get to the final outcome of 21-14?
Yeah, so Waynesburg got on the board with 7-0 with a Justin Flack 24-yard touchdown run. Then Geneva answered in the second quarter with a Blake Pete 44-yard touchdown run. Then early in the third quarter, Justin Flack, his second touchdown on the game from 70 yards to put Waynesburg up 14-7. Amos Luptak then answered with a 4-yard rushing touchdown of his own to tie the score at 14. And then the go-ahead touchdown by Geneva was Peyton Shell, a 15-yard pass from Amos Luptak as Geneva defeats Waynesburg 21-14. Geneva finishes off the season with a 2-3 record. Waynesburg drops to 0-5.
For Waynesburg, Tyler Raines, 7 of 16 with 1 interception, 110 passing yards, longest completion of 26 yards. You got rushing. Justin Flack was the star of the game for the Yellow Jackets. 30 carries, 202 yards, 6.7 yards per carry. As I mentioned, Tyler Raines had that 1 interception that was on Waynesburg's last essential drive that gave them a chance to tie this ball game up, as you can see here, to Dakota Allen. And for Geneva, quite the game from Amos Luptak. 8 completions on 12 attempts, 121 yards and a touchdown, and he did some damage on the ground as well. 18 carries, 78 yards and a touchdown. And Pete also for Geneva, 11 carries, 131 yards and a touchdown, and that was some of the star players of the game for both teams. And as I mentioned, Dakota Allen, 14 tackles, 9 of those being solo, and the game-clinching interception. You can see here Waynesburg seniors emotional about what was their final game in a Yellow Jackets jersey. But that's going to do it for us here on the Waynesburg University Sports Network. Just special shout out to everyone in the Waynesburg Communications Department, Professor Richard Krause, the chair of our department, for providing us this opportunity. Everybody at RPC that helps us set up and everything for these broadcasts, as well as everyone that worked tonight's production, including producer Jack Hillgrove, did a phenomenal job producing this semester. We had 12 of these productions. Couldn't have done it without Jack Hillgrove, director Riley Holsinger, and everyone else that worked in the truck and on camera. Special shout out to our spotter, Drew Rhea, did a phenomenal job identifying who made plays for us tonight. And for Adam Morgante and Matt Mansfield, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for everything. It's been quite the football season. We'll see you guys here in the fall on the Waynesburg University Sports Network.
This has been a presentation of the Waynesburg University Sports Network.